that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
All right, y'all see the title. We revisiting probably how a lot of y'all came on to us and found out about us. It is Black History Month, so it's only right to kind of touch on a little bit of the diaspora, Black history, and just some interesting questions like, what is Black history? Who is Black history? What counts as Black history? As well as kind of just revisiting a bit of the FBA conversation, the Pan-African conversation, as it stands today. But before we get too deep into any of those things, love for the panel to introduce themselves. G, talk to us.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check that out wherever you get your podcast. Just search GSHPOD. Ha.
Below him, FBA's own Mr. FBA Trey, aka David Walker. Talk to him.
What's good? What's good? Power to the people, reparations and all that, lineage-based reparations. You know what I'm saying? Do my best to be a good advocate for this FBA delineation movement that's in full swing right now.
Yes, sir. The mayor of Charlotte, I don't know, look like he's residing by a harbor, maybe. I don't know. Talk to us. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm out here in Baltimore celebrating Blackness, the CIAA tournament, a collection of HBCUs getting together, balling. There's also a lot of educational events surrounding it. But yeah, call me A Black or Asim. Follow me at Black is Gold. And I'm here to represent everybody.
There it goes. So you are pro HBCU is what I heard right there.
Oh, definitely.
We'll revisit that in a little bit.
HBCU. Yeah.
But all right, so nonetheless, G sent this in, or he sent the topic suggestion, but I think that it is relevant. The biggest news that has dropped over, what was it? Yesterday, I think he announced this, and this will be just kind of just Trump speaking to it directly. Trump is introducing this concept of the gold card, in which pay $5 million. And a little yellow tape, and you get yourselves, it's not citizenship, but you get yourself on American soil. I'll let him explain it. I'll push play and we can have a little bit of a conversation about it.
Selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful. We're going to be.
All right. So, fellas, what is y'all initial reaction? I guess we can start with G. To the gold card. Thoughts?
I just think it's an interesting. I think it's an interesting. It to me, it sheds light on the reality that when Trump is talking about like deportation and immigration and so forth, it's very much classist than like if that wasn't clear, it's even more clear today because he just basically put a price tag on ease of entry. Pause. And so when you start talking about a $5 million price tag to not get a green card, but a gold card, there's only really a select group of people in the world who are going to qualify for this sort of privilege, if you will. So I just find it interesting that he's ran this campaign on, tightening up the borders, but at the same time creating like a smooth gateway for the wealthy non-Americans to make their way over here. So I just find that interesting.
FBA Trey.
Man, I think this is a great idea. Like America is no longer like a country that needs to be filled with immigrants because it's empty, and it serves us no benefit to import the third world to depress labor and then compete in those markets. I mean, excuse me, depress wages and compete in those low skill markets that a lot of FBAs used to have. And especially when a lot of people from these third world countries are very like their cultures are very racist. And I think the people that come over here, they're also going to be able to invest in America. And if you get what was it? You said $5 million.
I think that they're saying the price tag to get the gold card is 5 million.
Man, so what if you get 10,000 of those, man, or 100,000? That'll be good for the national debt, and that gives America more money to put towards. I mean, they can't say they don't have the reparations money at that point. And I think this is if you compare this to bringing in a bunch of people, giving them free housing, giving them free education, putting them in the public schools, having the teachers having to teach them English when the teachers are already struggling, and then putting them in the communities, and prioritizing them. Like, if you compare these two strategies, man, I think what Trump is doing is way better for foundational Black Americans.
Okay. A Black, talk to us.
Yeah, I kind of agree with G where it seems to be a classist type move. On one end, we don't want immigrants, but it seems like we don't want poor immigrants. And then I'm thinking, like, if I can afford $5 million, for me, it's like it's almost an insult. Somebody that can afford a $5 million, like, you already have freedom. So why would I pay to get in your country if I can get a green card, marry somebody? The process might be longer. It might take me 3 years to become official, but what am I going to pay? Like, am I getting land? Like, I don't know if I fully understand the concept. Like, am I investing in something? I'm going to get a return on it. Like, maybe I'm not fully understanding what it is, but I know if I had that type of money and I'm hearing any country in the world saying, hey, for $5 million, you can live and work here, no strings attached. Like, I'm like, fuck y'all. Like, I'm not paying that. Like, I'll go the slow route, of getting a visa or whatever, unless they're about to just cancel that completely. Like, and nobody can move in America at all. But, that would just get uprooted with the next president. So that would just be a waste of time. It would only last 3.5 years. The next president would definitely end that entry way. But I don't know if I'm fully getting, like, is it a political campaign donation? Am I investing in something? Like, what is the $5 million for? And why would I do a gold card if I could just get a green card?
Gotcha. G, look like you want to hop back in.
Yeah, like, if to me what it signals is like global capitalism, to say America is for sale to the highest bidder. To me, that's what it says. Regardless of your nationality, if you've got wealth and resources, we don't really care where you're from. You can pay the price to come over here and own a piece of America. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, right now it's for sale to the lowest bidder, and there's no vetting. With this process, it would be for sale to the highest bidder, and there will be more vetting. So I think already those two, if you compare those two things, would be better. And on top of that, if we'd had this situation beforehand, we wouldn't have any tethers. We wouldn't have a bunch of people moving into the historically black neighborhoods, and because the people that are doing that are not people that can afford $5 million to come over here. So
I got a quick question for you, Trey. Do you think that rich people from foreign countries that would actually be coming in wielding power would be better or worse than? And do you think that they have like better intentions for black people or worse intentions for black people than what you call quote unquote tethers?
But they're not going to be flooding our neighborhoods. They're not going to be flooding our universities. They're not going to be confused as us, and they're not going to be like making up the majority.
Why wouldn't they
the
be flooding our universities? Wouldn't they have like more access to being able to flood our universities? And then if we're talking about real estate and only the wealthy coming and what they'll be buying, is a natural recourse of that impacting like the real estate prices, housing prices, development prices, just in general. Kind of like when California moved east during the pandemic, real estate prices went up. I don't know. I guess what's your POV?
Man, I think that if they can pay $5 million to come to this country, that's immediately contributing to like the revenue,
Black
tax
growth.
revenue. I'm talking about just revenue of the nation in general versus having a person that comes here with nothing and they need to eat off the system versus somebody who's immediately funding the system. And if you reduce the number by putting that barrier of entry, then there's going to be hard for them to flood anything because there's not going to be enough of them to do it. And if you put on top of that this deportation at the same time, man, that sounds like a good combination to me.
Can I ask a question? Can immigrants flood our neighborhood if we have ownership in them?
I think it's easier for them when they get loans that are specific to them that we don't get, especially after they ran us out of a lot of neighborhoods that we own, flooded them, and then did an eminent domain and attacked us while helping the people up who come over here, tell us they came here with nothing, and wonder why we're not doing as well as them, as if like everything that happened before they got here didn't impact us, and they don't benefit from us staying here and fighting. And also, I don't know if we can really unite with people who like abandon their homeland and just, like that's not really helping us. Like we're trying to fight and we're trying to unite with people. That's like on a different tangent. But
why would you be uniting with people of like people that have the disposable income of 5 million?
There's not going to be enough of them as to be significant is what I'm talking about. I think the people that'll be
So
deported
you
is probably
start and bring over family.
If
and
it's,
then employ
it's
their
5
family
million,
and then
it's 5 million. If it's 5 million per person, or is it 5 million per person, then they can bring whoever they want. I think that's two different things.
I'm not sure. I know that Trump's goal is to get 1 million of them.
Well, I don't think that it said you pay 5 million, then you can bring over your whole family. That I would disagree.
Okay,
with that.
let's say if you have 5 million, but like if you have disposable, you probably have 10 million or 15 million if that's important enough. I think that a part of this deals with also business as well. Typically, people that are going to be bringing some version of business to America.
That's good, right? We want the people. We want the best and the brightest. We don't want people just cheap labor.
But we don't want the best and the brightest from Africa. I'm saying like
no, it's not Africa, not just Africa from nowhere.
The disposable income of $5 million. I'm not coming to your country to help your lower class or your poor. I'm coming
here to eat. I'm coming here to get a return on my investment.
Well, you're gonna have to invest.
And I also think it's the arrogance of our president to think that somebody that has that type of income wants to even come here. Like it's a whole world out here, and majority of people are not pressed to come to America like we think.
Well, we'll see.
Or wouldn't be coming with like ulterior motives. I guess that'd just be like the more interesting thing. Where and I guess I'll lead this to a question to continue building. One, should America be for sale? Again, putting the price tag on coming over here, not necessarily like the best and brightest as much as the richest. Should it be a price tag on America? And I'll lead that also into, are we watching the rise of the American oligarchy, where Trump, he said I'm cool with Russian oligarchs getting the 5 million and coming over here, but then you pair this with the H-1B visa and who they're targeting, and then I forget the one that's higher than that Elon and his groups are looking to push to bring over. Are we looking at the new American oligarch, I don't know, live through immigration?
Well, right now they're coming over for free. Like the people that want to come to America that can't invest, they're not paying $5 million.
But see, you're talking about a class of people that's not even really relevant to this conversation. Because when you look at like the Elon Musk, the whole PayPal mafia, all them niggas are like South African immigrants and are like multi-billionaires. And when you talk about this idea of an oligarch, like that's what exists now, like when you look at these powerful tech companies and how they're using their money to influence politics, the politicians are indebted to the corporations. So I would say, like, yes, this is like a corporate oligarch, but it's not necessarily new. Bernie Sanders has been preaching about this for years.
So do
Yeah,
you think
but I
it's
guess like saying with like putting the 5 million tag on it and then pushing to bring in more. It seems like there's a push to bring new money to America from, and these places are India, China, and I think UK are the places that they're saying more likely will be the people that will have the resources and will be getting these whatchamacallits. To me, one, these aren't places that naturally have enjoyed black people and have looked out for black people. But two, people that have that amount of expendable income typically come with their own agendas. Or we like, I don't know.
I would agree.
What I don't understand what that y'all are saying is like you acting like the people that come over here for free don't have their own agendas.
But
and
we
then
can
they treat
also
black
like
people-
what
they
if
don't
we
treat
said
black people good either. So
But
we
I'm
have
not
less
competing
of
with
them.
them. They're not hiring me. They're not like nobody. They're
But
not
a lot
doing.
of
But Trey,
FBAs
all
are.
right, Trey, what if we said that those are bad for black people, and then we just put those aside in a different bucket, and then we can continue having this same conversation?
Oh, so we're not looking at a position of progress. We're looking at a position. Is this a better idea? We're looking at ideas. Like, is this a good idea at all?
Because this
Well,
idea
this is
doesn't
a
cancel
different
out
idea. Yeah, it doesn't
illegal immigrants. Like illegal, the illegal people are still gonna come through the border. Like
No.
the green card doesn't mean less illegal immigration. It doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It
does
does.
not.
How would you say that
That's
means?
what ICE
Like,
job
what,
is.
That's
no,
but
like
these
more
two things are separate.
illegal immigration. How is them bringing in the gold card stopping the illegal immigration?
Has nothing to do with it.
They have a separate mechanism to handle that. That's ongoing right now.
Well,
Which I don't understand
I
what you're
think that
talking
was the
about.
point. Like
That's what I'm saying.
they don't go hand in hand at all. Like these are different issues.
It's completely
So-
different.
Well, what's up, A Black?
No, so I did a quick read. So there's already been a version of this called the EB-5 visa, and it basically it's the same thing, but it was a $1 million investment. But it's been going on since 1990, and it basically failed because the foreigners were sending the money and Americans was embezzling it and doing fraud stuff with it. And so now they scratching that, reworking the program into gold card. Now it's $5 million, but it's specifically for people who want to invest in America, and a requirement is having 10 U.S. Permanent workers that work for whatever company that you create here. But it's purely
Is that
for
the new one or for the EB one, or is it they got the same requirement? I know the first one.
It's still requiring like 10 workers, which I'm assuming is like board or executive type workers of Americans of whatever company that's created. But yeah, this visa is for people who want to invest. But even with the EB-5 program, the numbers since 1990 are hella low. Like not that many people applied to it to reach Trump, who's wanting to sell a million of these gold cards. They say they projecting that it won't happen if people won't spend $1 million. Why would they do 5 million? But we'll see how it goes. But clearly, this is it don't got nothing to do with us. This is for people who want to invest in American business.
That's why I bring the two issues up together.
Your sound went out.
Something happened with your sound. We still can't hear you.
We'll come back to Trey.
Can you talk? No, yeah, we still can't hear you. I'll throw this out to you all as we wait for Trey to get his sound. Does this help or hurt black people? And I'll start it there, and we can kind of navigate to if this is them ushering in and bringing in a new buffer class to look down on black people and have more privilege than black people. But fellas, does this help or hurt black people?
I think it's too soon to tell. It might be one of them rich things. It's kind of like, how people say above our pay grade, out of our tax bracket type things that might not really affect us at all. But I think it's too soon to kind of tell because the program still don't really make too much sense yet. So I mean, if they come in and creating businesses that's going to employ Black people or something, then that would definitely help us. But 9 times out of 10, that's not what's going to happen. You know, I don't see them. No, I don't see nobody coming to America wanting to help Black people. Like, and maybe that's being pessimistic, but you know, just looking at history, you know, people are trying to probably come to help where they came from. The people where they came from, create some type of business where they can get USD currency, make more money, and funnel it back home. But I don't know yet. It's too soon to tell for real.
I can't even see how it's going to benefit Black people. Like, I just don't even see the pathway for Black benefits. Like, I just, like I said, you're talking about a very wealthy elite group of individuals globally who can afford this sort of access. They're not coming over here with any initiatives that's for the Black community, like flat out. And in terms of like the types of companies they're going to build and the people they're going to hire, like with that 5 million also comes no sort of stipulation of X amount needs to be invested in certain communities or X, Y, or Z. You know, DEI is out the door, so you can't like specifically allocate funds to certain groups and shit like that. So I just don't even see a clear pathway to how something like this is beneficial for our people.
Trey, is your sound back? Yeah, I don't know. You might have to leave out and come back. Well, damn. It sound like we can't hear you, Trey. Let me make sure that you're not mute you. Say something. Yeah, nah. You might have to just leave out and come back in. They'll probably fix it.
Somebody said if it helps America, then it helps Black Americans. But a lot of people still don't even consider Black people Americans. Like,
and we just know that's not true. We just know, historically, it's just not true.
Yeah, I don't think that exploitation typically doesn't directly help Black people. Like trickle down economics doesn't directly help Black people, or at least I can't say that it has. It doesn't help or hurt. Maybe jobs. Getting out of debt helps all Americans. Okay. G is
I mean, like if he pays off the $35 trillion debt with this, then cool.
How did that directly? That's the thing that I don't really be getting about, like that whole like the debt piece of it. Like by paying that off, there's not like a direct.
But see, I don't think
usually
people
it's like bonds that's like usually like as long as America got a strong enough military, that really don't matter.
I don't think people understand too. Like we're in a fractional reserve system. It's designed to increase year over year in debt. It's like that's what it's made to do. Like we're not on a gold reserve. It's a fractional reserve system. We print money out of thin air. We you know what I'm saying? Like this is not in any way something where like we're gonna pay the debt off. It's an illusion. Like it's not even a real. I don't know. Like ain't no politician in our lifetime gonna pay that debt off or get that debt. Like it's just not. It's not what it's designed to do.
Gotcha. Trey, you're back. Talk to us. Yeah, something going on with your audio still.
Yo, how about this?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, bet. Yo, I was just saying, hey, Black, Dan, you said something crazy, bro. You said some people don't even see us as Americans.
A lot of people don't.
Like who? You?
Like if you go, when I travel, like not even just Africa, but Europe, different places, the first assumption is not that you're American. They ask if
I mean, probably you, but I think I've heard other people say that they can definitely tell the difference between Black Americans and people who are not Black Americans. But you know,
I can only speak for me. Like even when I was in Italy, like and people like, oh, you know, where are you from? Ethiopia, Brazil. Like America is never the first place until I start talking. Then they might say American, but it's never the first guess, is what I'm saying. And even here in our country, although we are Americans and technically Americans and foundational Black Americans and all that, our own, even white people here don't consider us American. That's just a fact.
I've never heard a white person that didn't consider us an American, bro.
I don't know
I've never. This is a brand new.
Wait,
This is a brand new concept
Trey,
to me.
you can't say
I
that.
don't know what
like the
country
white
you
supremacists definitely don't consider us
I
American.
mean, we were
American?
3/4 of a human.
And that we deserve no rights of like the Aryan race of America that they say
We
built
were
America.
3/4
I
of
mean,
a
but
human.
the crazy part is when I listen to a lot of these FBA spaces, I hear more white Americans speak on like the unity as far as like the American lineage and the black contribution. Where I hear people doubt our Americanness is a lot of the Pan-Africans because we're just a bunch of displaced Africans to them. But
So
I
you
think-
do hear, so nonetheless, you do hear people
only Africans.
So you
never-
don't
you
hear
never
like
heard white
the
people
racist whites say that America, like blacks have
Go back
no
to
like
Africa,
right to
like-
America. Go back to Africa.
I've even said that heard some of those people say that there should be a place in America, like Georgia or something like that. I've seen them say we
You
should
think
be separate.
so? You think some, or would you say most of those people think that, or they just want us
telling
to go
you-
back to Africa?
I have never heard a white person tell me that I'm not an American because they're immigrants themselves.
So you don't feel like America as a whole feels like Black Americans are Americans. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, bro. Like they know Black Americans are American. Like, what do you like? We've been in America. We've been in America longer than any of
but I'm
them.
saying, do they consider that?
Every
Do you
white
think,
person I know does. I haven't. This is wild.
If you create a stereotypical American, right, red, white, and blue, America to the ground, are they ever Black?
Now they yelling.
Wait,
Roll
say that
Tide.
again.
They yelling Roll Tide.
If you were to,
That's what they doing for sure.
if you were to create
The only time you get a
stereotypical
black stereotypical
American-
American is in the city of Atlanta, nigga. Like that's it. Like that's the only place where you get a black stereotype American.
I don't know, man. I think that Kendrick Lamar thing. That right now we're in the there's like a black nationalism thing going on, where even with like Beyonce with country music, I think people are embracing, and also like a lot of information is being disseminated through like social media with a lot of like Black history in America. Because you said like Diaspora History Month or something crazy like that. It's Black American History Month, Foundational Black American Descendant.
Who said
History Month,
Diaspora
bro.
History Month?
Somebody said something about the diaspora talking about Black History Month. Now that struck me, but maybe I misheard. But I haven't heard any white person. I talk to white people that are on the left side, on the right side, most independent, and then I've never heard a single one of them mention anything. If anything, out of my friend group with the white people, I would say I'm like the most patriotic. Yeah, this is my homeland, bro. This is my people.
You
My
be hanging
people
out
built
with
this
the
country.
liberal whites. The conservative whites is fairly patriotic.
Bro, I hang out with both and all in the middle and people that aren't Black and all different friend groups. And I'm able to have conversations. Most of them are independent. We clown the liberal guy real hard because he's real on the no, he's not on the rainbow, but he's real like what they call it.
Being a patriotic American, what would you say you were the most proud of?
Our contributions, our perseverance, our inventions, our heroes, our people that fought in the wars. I would say the Seminoles, the Great Dismal Swamp, the Knights of Liberty, who were a secret society fighting against the slave Stone Rebellion, Black Wall Street before it was turned down, all the Black Wall Streets, and also being able to so soon out of slavery, like most people that are enslaved are liquidated after they're free. But they tried, but we're hard to kill and we're indispensable in all of our. I'm saying, that's my Black patriotism, bro.
Well,
it's not based in Africa.
My question. What in the last 40, say 50 years? Well,
the last 40, 50 years,
most proud of? Yeah,
I would say our creations, even with like music, like as far as like funk, jazz, rap, hip hop. I would say a lot of in the last 40, 50 years, we came out of what Jim Crow. No, it's not. That's like 70 years ago. I would say
the 80s is the crack era.
Yeah, but even
would you say we own those creations, like our music right now?
I think that we are the only people, the means of production, and it's up to us to gain the ownership, because if we get that, like if we stop making it, they won't have it. So only thing we need to do,
own it,
but that's what we're working on. But it's hard to own something when you don't even have an identity that you have to latch on to. I think that's why this delineation thing is so good, because we're saying this is ours. Whereas before we were saying, oh, this is Africans and stuff like this came from Africa. We got this from Jamaica. No, this is ours. We built a lot of this stuff over here. We built all these inventions. And then as we take ownership of that thing, that's how we can actually take ownership of the items themselves.
But currently, right now, you would say that we don't own our culture.
I mean, I think there are a lot of Black people that do own a lot of creations. Like I was just reading about basketball.
Overall, the biggest record labels, music production houses, would you say they're Black owned?
Nah, the biggest record labels, of course, they're white owned, but we do have independent artists, and we do have people that constantly break that system. Whereas like Tory Lanez, something happened to him. Michael Jackson, he owned half of Sony before something happened to him. And then we go all the way back to Sam Cooke and Otis Redding, and man, all the list goes on and on of Black people.
Tory Lanez Canadian,
but at the same time, he's not a tether though.
He's not one of us either.
Well, I fine. Tory Lanez is not one of us. But
so basically, for you as a patriotic American, our biggest contributions would be our culture, our music, but we don't own it. So outside of that, what is our biggest contribution to America?
I think you're really downplaying our culture.
I'm asking a genuine question, because what you're saying as far as resilience, perseverance, that's all across the diaspora, like that you hate the diaspora, but it's not mutually exclusive to us. So I'm asking, like, what do we own? And this is not it's just a genuine, like, what do we own? What have we created that we can say is ours, that we're proud of? And that is doing our culture good. Like, we created hip hop, but they perverted it. We created jazz, but they took it. Now it's smooth jazz, Kenny G. We created rock and roll. They took that,
country, etc.
They trying to take country back, but overall, like, everything we create and that is good for us, that does start the civil rights movement, that does start the public enemy Black power movement, that is a engine for activism, always kind of gets corrupted, perverted, and taken from us. So I just want to know, what do we own to be proud of as an American?
Well, I'll agree with you that we need to do a better job gatekeeping our creations. And I think that's why the delineation movement is so important, so we can take ownership and put our specific tag on it. And somebody in the channel says something like, Mr. Parallel, freedom is our biggest contribution, because we forced America to honor what it said in the Constitution. Before us fighting for that, nobody would have wanted to come to America, because it was a Jim Crow state. So
would you say that a major contribution? Would you say that ownership is the biggest tenet of freedom?
Man, I don't think that no, I don't think so, because we can still, ownership is still on the table. That's what we're working towards. So I don't think that negates the fact that we don't own it yet, doesn't negate the fact that we created it, we can create more of it, and now the next step is to make sure that we take ownership of it too. So that's a work in progress.
So if you working and you don't own it, what are you?
If you working and you don't own it, you're an employee.
You gotta it's a slow walk happening right now.
Oh, my bad.
It's a Black and trade in the ISO.
All right, let me step back.
Nah, we can move on. I was just asking questions. I rest my case for now.
Oh, go ahead, G.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you work and produce something and you don't own it, like, what do you call, like, people who work and don't own anything they're producing?
The same thing that you would call a person that is in a partnership with someone and they carry all the water and don't get anything in return. That's called slavery.
So that's not freedom then.
I was just talking about Pan-Africanism. What were we talking about?
I just gave the exact like this is where I gave it. I gave a very clear like example, and now you don't know what I'm talking about. Like that's where it'd be losing. Be like,
no, look.
I think that he was talking about Black people in America and their ownership of some of the things that you said.
I agree with you that until we own our stuff, we are not free. we need to work towards ownership.
But
now,
I think that's in rebuttal to you saying that freedom is our biggest contribution.
But at the same, so you're saying that in America, before we had our civil rights movement, were we more or less free than we are now?
Physically, but mentally, financially, spiritually, like freedom is layered.
Economically, I don't know if we are more free as a community.
We own more land in 1901.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to talk about like true like prosperity, freedom, institutions, ownership, I don't know if we have more of that post civil rights.
More black banks, more black.
I don't know if we can make that argument.
What about post bondage?
What about it?
Are we more free now that we're actually not in actual chains?
So you moved the field goal from 1960 to 1865 is what you say. So instead of asking about like
question, I'm trying to figure out.
So I just want to make sure we're acknowledging we're changing the conversation here because
yes, we are.
Okay,
we're obviously changing the conversation. I'm trying to see where you draw the line as far as like technically being free.
No, because like you said before bondage, we literally were property and couldn't own anything.
Okay, so we were literally enslaved during bondage. Then we came out of bondage, but we're still slaves. Okay, and then we had less. Okay, and then we had less freedoms in America. Now we have more freedoms in America
with less ownership.
Slaves
with less ownership, more freedoms with less ownership.
So once we get our ownership, which we're working on,
which we had,
yeah, which we had it right. Now that's why a big part of the FBA movement is working towards having our ownership back and taking specific ownership for our lineage. So we are working on those things. No, we are not free in this economically free. And that's the problem. I think Claude Anderson said that if we don't delineate and we don't put our take ownership and build our communities, then we'll be a permanent economic underclass. So that's what's up.
So just to slightly backtrack to us being viewed as Americans. So black people fought for almost every war, Vietnam, whatnot. When they come back to America, what do they say they experience?
When people came back from Vietnam, you talking about black people or just all the people? Because I know they were protesting.
Black Americans.
Oh yeah, when black people came back from all the wars, especially up in that era and before, they were treated like last class citizens. They even treated the German prisoners of war better than they treated the black people.
Because they don't consider them Americans.
You talking about in the 60s, like around Jim Crow? Yeah, you're right. You're right. During Jim Crow, you're right. We weren't considered Americans, but in 2025 now, I'm tripping. I have not heard a white person say something like, "You're not even American, you're black." No, I don't know where you heard that at. I haven't heard it.
I see it up and down the timeline all the time.
So you see that
they don't even have to like say it directly. It's the non-inclusion, that we're not included. We have to have things like DEI. We have to have these things where we have a firm.
Wait. So they don't say it.
They don't have to say it like then. Now they do it. It's a systematic thing now.
So if they take DEI away, you think that means we're not American?
But I guess I will say that I hear this really consistently, that America is a white Christian country. The identity of America is white and Christian. That like you hear that from conservatives all the way down to like far right extremists. Like they will make that specific statement that is white and Christian.
Yeah, that describes the dominant society. That's correct. Yeah, but
nobody.
That's not a majority of people in America, though.
Nobody abroad views
the dominant society is not the majority of people.
No, not like over. They're not over 50%. And if you want to really break it down,
I think they are still the majority minority.
I think they're like 40-something%. They're the majority minority, right? But that's not
white Christians in America.
I don't think the majority of people is Americans over 50%. We can find out. I know they're the majority, like minority, like you said.
The majority of people in America are white. One. And the majority of those whites are Christian too. I think it's like not even like a data point. America's still over 50.
You may be right. You may be right.
And if you include Hispanic whites, it's even higher white. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like even if you look at non-Hispanic whites versus Hispanic whites, if you combine the non-Hispanic whites with the Hispanic whites, it's through the roof. And you know the Hispanic whites are super Christian.
So it says white alone 73% and black.
I don't know of this. I can go to the census in a second. This seems like the more accurate one, where it's 59%, 18, 12, 5. Even though black people.
Yeah, it's 60% white. Like that's like the widely accepted sort of statistic is America's about 60% white.
What do y'all think about this? Of those white people, they are a mixture of all kinds of different ethnicities. You know, they have the Italians,
Europeans,
Germans, versus foundation
like
Black Americans. Like, but no, we're all like started in America,
like mixed up like a motherfucker, right?
Like when people say Black Americans, do you think that they
bro, do you really know how mudded we are when you think about like ancestry and how many great grandparents and great great grandparents and great great grandparents you have to get to you eventually? Like the amount of people, and then it's so mixed up. Like we as Black Americans aren't any more quote unquote pure blooded of one thing than a white European, in my opinion.
Well, I think that the majority of Black Americans, like over 90%, were here before the vast majority of white people. So our roots go back further to this one land versus they have like Irish grandmothers, Italian grandmothers.
You said that 90% of Black people today
Black Americans, but foundational Black Americans.
FBA, would you say FBA?
Yeah.
You said 90% of them were Native Americans, and they weren't.
No. I was saying they were here before 90% of white people, because a lot of white people came over through immigration, Ellis Island.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean by that. Okay,
yeah, like they are more immigrants than we are. Like we can trace back to the Revolutionary War, the majority of us, but the majority of white people can't go further than when we can.
And that's because when they came, they realized that we can't be separating ourselves as Italians, as Portuguese.
They did at first, though.
At first, they created the concept. Then they created the concept of white, and they all started to meld themselves. While we still are doing this divisionary thing, they realized their power was in their skin color. We're going to create this new country, and we're going to mesh all our shit together, and we're going to become white. The Irish, the Scottish, the Italian, all of that. And they created this concept of white. And that's when they created white supremacy. I mean, white supremacy already going on, but in America to survive, all these immigrants coming in through Ellis Island, through all of these places, it's like, all right, we can keep fighting. You got gangs in New York. You got all these different white people that fought. But eventually they came to the conclusion of we white, and it's us versus everybody. And then, and they still got their little divisions. I mean, they still don't really fuck with Jews. I don't know if I can say Jews, but you know,
they got their hierarchy.
For the rest of them, they kind of blended in, and then you got the
Protestants, Catholics.
Them Jews, they do tend to blend in when it's convenient, for sure.
They sure do. They are selectively white, and then they have their hierarchies there too. But the only thing is, we did try the because like white people there,
minority group.
Because white people are a very small global minority, and we did try the Pan-African thing where like all Black people, you know, we like, especially FBAs, we all saw each other as one. But unfortunately, as long as there's tribalism that exists in the global Blackness, then like Black Americans can't be the only ones that don't play by those rules.
Hey fellas, it seems like we've already segued our way away from the Trump conversation and the gold card to a bit of the FBA conversation. So I think that almost to kind of reset it at the top of the conversation, This is Black History Month. I'll start with this question. I'm not sure if everybody's in here in favor of Black History Month. I know that was a popular thing to hate on for a little bit, but I ask y'all this question with the assumption that everybody's for it. Should the achievements of the diaspora in America be highlighted during Black History Month?
Can you repeat that last part of the question? My fault.
Should the achievements of the diaspora in America be highlighted during Black History Month?
Like, can you give an example?
Like the dude that invented the internet, that was Africa.
What was his name?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Like
I can look it up for you real quick.
So I think like if we honest,
Philip Imgowali, I think that's how you say
yeah.
it.
Yeah, or like it said, somebody in the chat mentioned Marcus Garvey, another good example.
I don't know, man. I'm not about sending us to Africa is not really one of my goals. So I don't really know. I have mixed feelings about him. Like, I have mixed feelings about Marcus Garvey. I do like him as showing how, like, the power of us having unity, talking about how the NAACP, if it's not all black, then what's the point? He had a lot of good points. But if it's with him meeting with Walter Plecker and people with the KKK, because they had the shared goal of getting,
but
like,
let's not
black
silo it to just Marcus Garvey. Like, somebody put Kwame Ture, somebody put Elijah Muhammad,
so your question right now
a bunch of them. So should the achievements of the diaspora, I don't know why I keep saying it like that, the diaspora in America be highlighted during Black History Month? Again, Bob Marley, there you go. Kwame or Elijah
Mansa Musa.
Muhammad,
Niggas want to talk about Mansa Musa and Black History Month.
That's a secondary. We'll get there in a second. But just speaking about what they did in America, the black or the people from the diaspora that have contributed to America in a positive way, should they be highlighted?
I think to answer that, you got to first start with why we even have Black History Month. And the reason why Carter G. Woodson, you like gotta think back to Carter G. Woodson at that time. There's no internet, there's no TV, there's not a lot of educated Black people. So he started this Negro History Week and chose February because there was no Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King back then. There was only Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, and it was centered around their birthdays. That's who Black people look to. Abraham for setting Black people free, and Frederick Douglass for being like one of the first big abolitionists and orators at the time. So he set it around their birthday because Black people were already kind of celebrating around that time. And you have this lack of like multimedia. So there's Black people doing all things around the country, but it's not a lot of communication to it. So he created this time for us to like, let me let you know that these Black people over here just created this bank. These Black people over here just created this restaurant. These Black people over here just created, and it became like this inspiring thing because you're reading about it, and you're hearing these accomplishments, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know we can do this. And then it gets extended to the month of February because it's already in February, and people, hey, shortest month of the year. It had nothing to do with that. So as we achieve more, it starts to broaden past just what's happening in America and then what's happening in the world too. So I think we can celebrate the achievements of Black Americans, but also international Black Americans as well. And so, yeah, they should be highlighted because a lot of them come here and they contribute to Black culture. You have Marcus Garvey from Jamaica. You got, I don't know where Elijah Muhammad came from.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
He's American.
It said that he was.
I thought he was somebody
like Cropper and somebody else.
He's a Black American for sure.
Yeah, but you have people that come from outside of America that do contribute to our history, to our achievements. So they should be acknowledged as well. But I think we can do both. But if we honest, the last few years, a lot of black people were shitting on it, joking on it, making memes. We don't need Black History Month every day, but niggas don't post nothing about Black History every day, but they love to say that in February that it's 365, which it is. It's cool, but nobody says nothing about that. They making memes and the first black person to get a weave and ha 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 and all this stuff. And it wasn't until Trump was threatening to take that shit away, which he didn't. Everybody wanted to rah 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 for 5 days and then went right back to the same shit of like not promoting Black history. So I feel like its purpose has really been lost. And a lot of people are kind of uneducated on the origins of it. But I do think we should celebrate all of us, because I don't think we are mutually exclusive. And we are part of the world because we contribute to the world. Like if we contribute to the world, then we need to celebrate all of us as well.
Hey, Black, what black people were saying we shouldn't have Black History Month? Was that the HBCUs?
No, this was like a very popular thing.
Every single year, black people like, we don't need Black History Month, and
who?
Kanye said the line. Like it's been a line in culture since Kanye put it in a song.
What did he say? Did he say that it should be every day, or why do we need a month? Black history is American history. Did he say something like that?
Say we don't need it. Say why we have the shortest month. People say that Black history is every day. They just say things to kind of dismiss it every year, and it's not until
just make it like you've never seen or heard any of that ever.
Not from Black Americans. I heard.
Okay, so
I've heard a lady. What's her name? The Caribbean lady. Candace Owens say that.
It's not to a white man threatening to take it away that everybody wanted to rah 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 about it this year, but you can't.
Maybe I'm in the bubble. Maybe I'm in the bubble because nobody around me
because people have been joking about Black History Month. You don't see the memes and like
it's the shortest month of the year. I celebrated every single like these aren't like specific to like one person or group or even like a time frame. Like it just
you've heard Black Americans say.
Yes.
I heard George. I heard what do they call it?
Not like a single Black American. Like this has been like a group of people. Like through time that have made these statements in which, to a Black's point, like they usually will shit on Black History Month because it's the shortest month and make like those jokes, while also never highlighting through 365 days a year Black history, but saying that Black history is every single day. Like this ends up being like a common trope that you hear on the internet
every year,
every single year. Like it's almost like an annual thing from a bunch of people. These are like non-educated, educated, mildly educated, Black Americans, FBAs, immigrants. Like you hear it.
And then you got the white people. The white people saying, "Well, why do they need a month?" And like,
well, that's the newer thing. Like since ADI dropped, that
you don't have White History Month, like.
Yeah, I guess I feel extremely blessed, man, because I'm not aware of I've heard of, like I said, Candace Owens, and then the African politicians say to cancel Black History Month. But the people I'm around and the people I follow, I guess that's why I'm another big thing I'm proud about with the FBA delineation movement, man. Like you don't never hear nobody talk about that mess. We're all talking about sharing all kind of history, sharing all kind of stories, doing all types of celebration and pointing it out. So I don't hear nobody. I'm not around nobody that talks bad about Black history.
And heard personally. People that does the same apply for Juneteenth?
Juneteenth became more popular, I think, later on. I'll agree with that. Especially, I mean, well, if you were in,
do you hear like FBA ever talk down about Juneteenth?
Nah, not people that go by like claim FBA, because I think if you claim FBA, that means you have to have a certain sense of pride that I think unfortunately, a lot of foundational Black Americans have serious self-esteem issues. Heard
people that claim FBA that
say something bad about Juneteenth.
Yeah, for sure, because they say that it was like a token holiday given by the Democrats, and it's like the only.
Oh, they said it's a symbolic gesture to acknowledge it, but that's not saying
that they don't care to have it.
No, they're saying that they don't care if there's nationally recognized. That's totally different than saying that we shouldn't have it at all, because we don't care.
To make it a holiday, it would need to be nationally recognized, right?
but we don't care. Like all the Jewish holidays aren't nationally recognized. Jewish people don't care. So we're saying that we don't care if they recognize it or not. Honestly, it's better if they don't recognize it and we keep it to ourselves, because a lot of times when things get recognized, they commercialize it, like the Cinco de Mayos and everything like that. So if that's what you heard, I think you misunderstood the sentiment.
So it should be like a secret holiday.
Not a secret holiday, but we're saying their acknowledgement does not matter. It's simple as that.
Okay.
And one other thing to answer your question, though, I think that these people, they have a Caribbean month. They have, their carnival and everything like that. And they have their own thing. So I think they should have their own Caribbean History Month, their own African History Month, just like they have their own tribes, their own language.
In America, you're cool with in America us designating a Caribbean History Month?
There already is one.
No.
What month in America
is celebrated every June to honor the contributions of Caribbean people to the United States?
Who knows that? Who's ever
that's
heard
not
of
our
that?
fault. That's not our fault.
But
like,
Trey, who's ever heard of that? Who's ever heard of that?
Why does that matter?
Who's ever been to one Caribbean month event in their life? I've never even seen one.
So why does that matter? That they have,
it don't exist, nigga. Like, where are you? Like, like, what are you like? Yo, there's no such thing as an American wide Caribbean History Month, bro. Like, when you go in Target, they don't like deck the shit out with beans and rice in June, nigga. Like, it's not like that. Like, you don't go to Target and get a bunch of plantain and oxtail. Like, it's just not.
The chat saying it's big in New York. So I mean, it's on Caribbeans to
elevate.
They have Carnival, but like a Caribbean History Month. Like, what's the name of it,
bro? That's a Caribbean American Heritage Month.
Caribbean American Heritage
Month. Why you jumping
Month.
on my neck, bro? Like,
I've never heard of it.
It's our own holiday, bro. I'm not saying it shouldn't celebrate it. I don't care. I hope.
No,
I just said
so you are for them having in America having a Caribbean History Month.
I'm way more in favor.
Like they recognize and they teach about the Caribbean history.
Yes, I'd rather have.
And they got Native American month in November. I mean, they have months for almost everybody, but ours is the biggest.
So why don't they? So like they have their own holidays. We don't have to let them tether on to ours, bro. What is this FBA need from people like in the FBA, like by lineage, not people that identify with that? It's like this need to have friends, bro. It's like I don't understand it. Like, we have our own month, just like they have their own month. They're not over here like, should we include Black Americans? Should we have them over?
So would you consider hip hop Black history?
Oh, it's a part of our contribution and creation of hip hop. Yeah, we can talk about.
And would hip hop been created without tethers?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. You think if we didn't have Jamaicans in America, we wouldn't have hip hop? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Even though we've been doing spoken word,
were they not an essential part of the origins of hip hop?
No, because hip hop traces its roots back to
where was the first? Who threw the first hip hop party?
That you have this Big Bang theory of hip hop, as if it wasn't built on funk music and everything else that we created.
You talking about like sampling funk music, or are you talking about funk music? Those are different.
Like, there's an evolution of hip hop.
Sampling is a part of hip hop, but
who universally considered the father of hip hop? Universally, even to our big hip hop.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, y'all are going by this Big Bang theory. There was no Big Bang.
Well, no, he's just talking about like who's an important pillar of hip hop.
Funk Master Flex.
Bro.
Take his card, G.
This nigga started at Funkmaster Flex, nigga. Are you serious?
Oh, my bad. Disco King Mario.
Yo, I know this nigga did not say Funkmaster Flex. That is hilarious, nigga. What?
Hey, I know that I recognize that was a weak start, but they're helping me out in the chat because I didn't. They're talking about Disco King Mario. John Brown.
You gonna say Cool
Hot 97, nigga. Hot 97, New York City, baby. Like, that's the only thing that
it started in the tunnel. That was it.
Everything started in the tunnel, kid.
Yeah.
Hey, but bro, Pig Meat Martin was rapping on records from the 70s. Like, we've been rapping, doing spoken
hip hop
word
before the 70s.
But
sure.
who do hip hop consider their father, like universally? Who's the father of hip hop? If you Google it, ChatGPT, ask the top rappers, who would they say?
I think just because a person claims a title doesn't mean that like we.
Well, not that
No,
they
I'm
claim
not
it.
talking about claiming. I'm saying, who does hip hop give it? If you ask Nas, if you ask Jay-Z, Nas raps about it. He's FBA. If you ask them, they say Cool Herc. They say Red Alert. They say MC Ren, and they have Caribbean origins.
Bro, but even he
Do
said
we pretend like KRS-One didn't have a huge impact with hip hop? Like you can just go down the line.
They were imitating us though. Like, and we're giving credit to their homeland when they.
Or maybe everybody was like developing the art.
But we already had it. We were already doing breakdance type stuff. We were already doing spoken word. We were already doing the mix, and we're already doing all of these things. Going back to the jazz era, all these house parties and everything, they came in our neighborhood. It's not like, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, Black Americans have this need to just give everything away.
It's not about giving it away. It's about not dismissing their contribution. Like, you just act like
you know Grandmaster Flash, right? Like, do you know the name Grandmaster Flash?
Yeah.
Do you know like what he's responsible for in terms of his contribution to hip hop?
No, I couldn't even tell you.
We can't even have this combo then.
Like, they made a whole Netflix show about it.
I mean, saying like Grandmaster Flash. I don't know if he's all the way FBA or what, but I know he's like got some Caribbean descent. But in terms of his contribution, he's like the OG of is it the Transformer? The shit that niggas use to blend they shit, the DJs and shit. Like
it's the mixing piece.
The mix, like nobody was doing that. He literally invented it.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. He
literally invented it. He invented modern DJing, basically. Like he invented it out of the blue.
Let's revisit. If we could revisit this comment, I have a documentary I haven't watched. I didn't watch it yet because, bro, I already know this. I'm not ready to. There's too many debates. Like, this isn't even worth debating. And bro, because hip hop, I've seen people rapping. I've seen people doing all of the elements of hip hop way before Caribbean started doing anything. So it don't even make sense.
I don't think the conversation. I think it's more of a matter of like, are we going to say that like so going back to the original question of like non-FBA contributions, Black History Month. Like, if you want to say hip hop is rooted in Black American history, that's one thing. But if you want to say that hip hop does not have contributions from outside of Black Americans,
they contributed for sure. There's some contributions. I'll give you that.
Even if you want to look at another element of hip hop, graffiti, one of the most famous graffiti artists, Samo, also known as Jean-Michel Basquiat, Haitian lineage background. And it's like,
there are people that participated in
these things. I'm not dismissing Black American contributions.
No, we created it, bro. They contributed, bro. Like, this is our creation.
The contributions of the diaspora, that we are a melting pot, that New York was a melting pot of immigrants. New York was a melting pot of immigrants, not FBAs. It was a melting pot of immigrants. That's why it's called the melting pot. And they all contributed to help create the culture that is Black American, but they are Black Americans too, because they lived in America. A lot of them were born here, but their families came from the Caribbean. Just like generations ago, we came from Africa.
Man, we can pick. I got some more research to do, honestly. But I just thought that this topic was so obvious that like we wouldn't be here having this debate where I'm trying to say that we all contributed to this, and this is not a foundational Black American creation. Is hip hop. I didn't know that we're talking about we share the creation with the so-called diaspora. I didn't know that y'all thought that.
And Trey, I've been getting 3 versus 1 in the chat a little bit. I'll ask you this really quickly. Would you like for me to bring up? I see TBI in the chat, or another
bring up TBI.
Bring up
TBI.
Give me some help.
TBI, I don't know if I can talk about neither, man.
He can get cooked too. And he better be on camera. If you're not on camera, none of them weirdos sit behind like the phone. Like, get your ass on camera, man. They love to be some.
I do think that is a fair, especially like we're not on call-in section. If we do have someone who is willing to also take the FBA side, that's willing to turn the
Please,
camera
man.
on. And this is before we haven't really gotten to the crux of the conversation, but this is before we'll kind of just do a fair open call out. If you got your camera off, we hitting the remove button. Into the call in, you can carry your camera off, but for this part, we do want to actually be able to see. So with that,
yeah, Biggie's definitely Jamaican. Yeah, that's a
Ron
fact.
Dwan.
Yeah.
I don't think you count in this one. You got to wait till the call in. I don't know if you
Yeah, man.
I think they want like full FBA.
Tupac got an
to back
African
them up.
tattoo.
Tupac
got
was
a
definitely
what?
Pan-African.
Yeah,
But he was a Black
in about
Panther,
30 minutes,
bro.
we'll go into like
A lot of Black Panthers were Pan-African.
But I do want y'all to make
Everybody
sure that,
was Pan-Africanism until we found out how they really talk about us and how they feel. Then we started circling around our own lineage. We gave it a good college try. It didn't work.
when you say college try, which college you talking about? Like
What does that mean? A
HBCU?
college try?
Or
Like, I don't even
PWI?
Was
it like
what
a
that means.
PWI
Like,
try?
what the fuck does that even mean? A college try? Like, what does that even
white
mean?
college try.
Like,
Listen,
I just
this
want
is
to know
a-
so I can use that shit in a sentence one day. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. Like, y'all gave that shit a college try. I want to make sure I use that shit the right way, nigga. Like, what does that even mean, nigga?
It's
A
just a
college
figure of speech,
try.
man.
Till we find out how they talk about us.
Again, there is an open call. We got Zulu. Well, I don't know if that so again, fellas.
I don't want no help from nobody named Zulu.
I'll bring you up, but right
Please,
now
don't
we're
bring
not
Zulu
quite
up,
at the
bro.
call in. In about 30 minutes, we'll get into the call in. I do want to make sure that there's at least a fair representation on the panel. If y'all feel like it's 3 versus 1, again, I'm gonna try and just more so just moderate the conversation.
Yeah, bring that
but
Mr. Parallel dude up so he can get cooked too.
yeah, I hear it. The link is in the chat. Zulu, hit the back chat. Let me know, like, where do you stand? Are you more like Pan-African FBA?
Mr. Parallel, click that link. Click that link.
But nonetheless, I will give y'all this really quickly as we continue going down there, down the line of the questions. Achievements pre-slavery, should they be highlighted? We talked about Mansa Musa. We talked about
During Black History Month?
just Black history.
No,
Black
bro,
History
it's for foundational Black Americans, bro. It's not even a
our
discussion,
history
bro.
starts at slavery for them guys. Man, we can't.
Have
go
y'all been
further.
to the African American Museum in DC? Have y'all been there?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the African American History Museum.
And you take the elevator down and then work your way up. Do you remember like that experience of like you go down and you see this timeline and you start like at slavery basically, and then you work your way up to the current time period, and then when you get to the top, you see LeBron and Oprah and rappers and shit. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What do you think about the African American Museum starting at like right before slavery in Africa?
I would like them to incorporate more of our indigenous history here. That's why I'm a fan of the Hidden History Museum, which I know y'all will think is a joke, but I don't like that.
Where's the Hidden History Museum?
It's LA.
They also got a restaurant in that National Black Museum in DC that has food from all over the diaspora.
That's what I'm saying.
There. Soul food, they serving you collard greens, fried chicken, and mac and cheese. Like I felt disrespected, but
no, but I'm saying they got sections. They got soul food, but they also got Caribbean food. They got African food. They got all of
Hey, yeah. So do you think we're just
really, hey Zulu, listen, I'm gonna bring you up, but again, if you are more or less like non-FBA at the moment, I'm gonna have to take you down only because like it I don't want the chat to feel like it's a 4v1. But if you do have like stances that kind of side that way, I'm gonna bring you up and we'll kind of sing ping pong a little bit. What's going on, brother?
What's good?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's good?
Good.
Slow motion, bro.
Gotcha. So I'll let you hop in really quickly. I know you've been listening, so I'll allow you the floor to kind of introduce yourself and get into a bit of what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think pretty much all of us is FBA, you know, and we are foundation Black Americans. But at the end of the day, you know, some of us is Israelites, some of us is Native Americans, some of us is financial Black Americans. But you know, like, so I do a lot of research and history books and Malcolm X books, Frederick Douglass books, just everything, bro. And like I can school anybody if, and like Frederick Douglass said, the key out of slavery is education. So if you're not educated, no matter if you FBA or no matter what you are, if you're not educated and you stating facts and you sound real ignorant, you know what I mean? No matter what you are.
Hey Zulu, you think we should be educated by HBCUs?
That's not my opinion, bro. Whatever, you know, that's FBA CUs was mainly the funding is from like white people, bro. You know, we don't have nothing, we don't own nothing, bro. I think our first step is like to like stop the black on black youth killings every day, bro. As far as FBA, I think that's our number one agenda, bro. Stopping the black in every city, stopping the black on black under 18 killings every day, bro. You know what I mean? My opinion.
I think that starts with
so Trey, I think that this sounds like he's gave it a good little spectrum of opinions, which some I think you might agree, might disagree with. Again, we don't want this to be a 1v3, a 1v2. Fair, foul. Do you think that like you good with keeping him up here to express this side of the FBA?
I was rocking to the what about black on black crime thing at the end, man. Because you know, black on black crime, that's a symptom of poverty. So we get out of this poverty, then we're not going to worry about that crime. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
man, we can't have TBI somebody with no camera up here too, man. I would be okay with that.
Man, tell TBI like he can let us see that forehead, man. It's all right. We just trying to vet. We trying to see if he's really FBA or not.
Or down B. If he's not FBA, he's still a rider, bro. It's not. You don't have to be.
Okay. Whoa.
All right. Nonetheless, Zulu, it sounds like you passed the test for the moment.
Whoa.
But can I state something? One more thing, bro. Can I state one more thing, bro?
Yes, sir.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think like just say Los Angeles, for instance, bro. How people divide and conquer us. How we never come together. Like they'll put the Crenshaw Crips over here, the Compton Crips over here. Just they divide and conquer us, bro. So like, I think we got more in common than we don't. You know what I mean? Like I think we all together, bro. Like my grandma was like a Native American back in the day, and like all the slaves was together, so they was having babies with the Native Americans. You know what I mean? They was having babies with the Africans. So I think we all like a boiling pot. You know what I mean? And if you never did a ancestries.com and can't pull it up, you don't know what you are. None of us know what we are. You know what I mean? So we just sound ignorant because none of us know what we are, bro.
Yo, Zulu, you like from the West Coast?
Zulu, not.
I'm from Los Angeles. Yep.
Word.
Bro, respectfully, bro, I don't think you, Zulu.
So Zulu not FBA enough. Okay, damn.
All right, Zulu, we're gonna bring you back in a little bit.
Zulu, I respect it though, bro. I respect it. I agree. FBA, like I agree, bro.
Yeah, about 30.
This is the ancestry. It's just the DNA test. You niggas do not know how you from. What about black on black crime? It's like those are just like red flags. Respectfully, but I appreciate you.
Listen, TBI to down B. Either one of y'all call him.
Zulu, stick around.
Yeah, but stick around for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what's the red flag about the DNA test?
Talking about you don't know. We don't know where we from. We know exactly where we from.
Trey don't believe in DNA tests.
I don't believe that DNA tests that don't include all the markers can tell you anything accurately because it's based on the markers, right? Or is that don't? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not a DNAologist. I don't know.
It's based on the more. So the more
markers,
DNA,
bro. It's got to be a marker to match you with. If the marker's not there, it's not going to match you with it, right?
The more specific that they get. So, all right, a lot of Black Americans can't trace their history back to a certain point, but there are a lot that can. So they have more to gain through being accurate than just putting out false information, because a lot of people can prove their shit, and all the ancestry test did was confirm it. So I know in the South where I'm from, a lot of great grandmothers, they recorded their history orally in the columns and of Bibles and whatnot. So my great grandmother was saying that, we were from Senegal and West Africa, like back in the 70s. Like we have her old Bibles when she has stories from her great grandparents telling her that. And so, we didn't know. People thought she was talking crazy. And a lot of Black people in the South want to be Indian because, that anti-Africanism is just there in us. So a lot of people claim we got Indian in our blood. That's just a thing that's said in the South. Some people do, a small percentage, but it's very small. So in my case, specifically, like I could trace my family back in America to the 1700s, and all the ancestry did was confirm what my great grandmother and my great 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 grandfather had been saying, for years. So when I got the shit back, it was like, oh, boom, the top percentage, Nigeria, Mali. Like we know the white people in our family, the slave masters, they are from Ireland. I see that 8% up in there. So all it was doing for me was like confirming what we already knew. But I know a lot of people, they have like no idea, and they can't go past their great grandparents and stuff. On my dad's side, they were very isolated in Fayetteville on the coast, so they didn't hardly have any mixture over there. Like, so their shit on my dad's, it's like 80% Nigerian. He's never been there. Like his grandparents never been there. But the stories were told. Like some people did keep their histories, did keep their lineage, and did like pass that down. And some people were split up from their families during slavery, and they lost all of that. They got shipped here and shipped there, but everybody wasn't. Some people kind of stay isolated and insulated in certain places. You can go to Charleston and the Geechee people, isolated and insulated. So some people do know their history, but the ancestry shit is real. And then you can do the African ancestry if you want to go more specific and like find your tribe and stuff. The more DNA that they,
the
really
more
quick,
accurate. Trey, before you hop in, so one, this would kind of be like the last call for anybody of FBA that would like to. We're gonna make a pass right now. We're gonna allow a no camera, just so Trey has a little bit of backup for the moment. But anybody that is within FBA, Ron Dwan, I see you in the back. Give us a second. I already kind of know like a bit of the breakdown to where, yeah, I think I'm gonna try and hold off a little bit, but you'll be the first one we bring up during the call-in section. We see you, brother. But saying all that to say, alley-oop back to you, Trey. And from here, again, y'all got about 3 minutes. I'll drop the call-in link. But if within like next 3 minutes, we don't have anybody that fits the criteria, we're just gonna continue in the conversation. I just wanted to make sure that we did give at least a fair representation on the panel, or at least an opportunity for a fair representation. But Trey,
but real quick, if it's not TBI or
boys,
if it's not TBI or Down B, I'm not really. I mean, respectfully, like buddy in the back, he said something about we got the sound system from a reggae club or some shit.
But bro, so like Trey, why is it that you can only like talk to people who back your every word? Like even your own FBA niggas. It's like if niggas come up here on the FBA talk, but as soon as they say some shit that you don't agree with, it's like, oh, that's a red flag. I can't trust you. Like I don't understand that.
You talking about, you understand why saying things like what about black on black crime is kind of not really something that'll probably
more specifically
that's what specifically what it was. But for this example,
it's not just that example. You just said another example. You just said another example where the nigga said something about the crime, other nigga said something about reggae speakers or some shit like that. Like really, anything that don't align, it's like, oh, I don't want this FBA person up here because they not the FBA that I want representing FBA. It just sounds like a very exclusive group of Negroes trying to like dictate what something is and try to tell people who actually are that, like that they're not that. Like I don't know how such a small minority of quote unquote lineage based people get to dictate like how the lineage represents itself.
Okay, so if we're trying to debunk a common narrative about hip hop being started by Jamaicans, and the goal is to find someone to do that, to help with that because they're more knowledgeable about hip hop, why would I have somebody up here to say something that I know isn't true? And I saw in the chat.
Do you know that it's not true, or
Yeah.
you just know that it's not what you think?
I know that it's not true, and I also know that a lot of the FBA's situation is a growing movement. So a lot of the information that we're learning about, and celebrating our lineage and everything like that, there's not going to be a lot of people yet because it's a new movement. But there's a lot more now this year than there were the year before, and there's a lot more last year than there were the year after that. And then there's actually acknowledgement now. A lot of the information gets single boosted, so it is growing and it's having an impact. So it's not like a select few; it's the select few of people who are actually on code. But unfortunately, what Claude Anderson talked about in the book is the lack of on code people in Black Americans. So if I want to find someone that's on code, then it's going to be someone that's in the minority. That's why. G.
All right. So Trey, I think that you have your Luka Doncic to your LeBron. Well, what's two good Black NBA players? My bad. Is it like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant?
Yeah, they more like
Yeah. They're the Suns. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what would you like? What would you like?
He called y'all niggas the Suns. Damn.
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
He says Melo and Mark Williams.
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
Miles Bridges and Melo.
Those wild YNs. I don't know how y'all feel about YNs as the FBA. We'll get back to that a little bit later.
There's no official FBA perspective on YNs or women. I keep telling y'all that 1,000 times. There are a lot of these things. You think everything I say is an FBA position?
Listen, that wasn't my argument that y'all was having. I'll let y'all figure it out a little bit later. But nonetheless, he does have fully vetted backup. And shout out to TBI. TBI, he is a consistent contributor, especially in the call-in section. A well-vetted FBA guy. He spends multiple hours of the after show telling us all of the FBA truths, to where now we got a 2v2. I think that this makes it fair enough. Again, before we get into it, because of this is somewhat a little bit chattish, not chat, but call-in-ish. Again, the goal is to have a productive conversation. No ad hominems, no personal attacks. Let's make sure that we answer direct questions without deflections and insults. With that said, we're about to get into the part of the conversation that probably will get the most fiery, but let's have fun. I'll start off with this. This is a bit of a softball question, but it is something that tends to kind of get convoluted, conflated, and confused often. FBA. Is it a movement or is it just a lineage? And if it's just a lineage, does that mean that FBA describes the people that are in ADOS?
Yeah, it's just a lineage, and the people in ADOS are FBA too. But ADOS is an organization, versus FBA is strictly a lineage. I would say delineation is a movement.
Okay,
and the two things are intertwined.
FBA and ADOS are different, and they have different goals and whatchamacallit. And FBA also doesn't have like a specific ideology at all. So like you can be FBA and not for reparations. You could be FBA and not for delineation. You could be FBA and like all of these things. Or is there an ideology that does come along with FBA?
Yeah, you can be like, there's all kinds of FBA coons. They're not with none of it.
It makes you a coon if like you disagree with what?
If you're off code, you're
okay. So okay.
Can I ask a question about the lineage? So, and I guess lineage-based reparations, will y'all include the foundational Black Americans that left America to form Freetown in Sierra Leone and Monrovia in Liberia?
Hell no.
Oh, but it would be lineage-based though.
But they also have to be Americans, because like you can't. How you gonna sue a foreign government?
Because you said it's lineage. So does being American matter if your lineage? Like if you leave here and you move to Italy and you stay there for a year, are you still not American?
No, if you are an American citizen, Still,
You said it's lineage based, not
Lineage.
You have to have the lineage and be from America. That's all it is. It's
So
not
then-
that complicated.
If that's the case, then you could move to Italy in 1900 and never come back and be entitled to your family would be entitled to reparations.
Are they American?
Yeah, Americans who moved to Italy.
do they have American lineage or are they American?
Yeah, niggas. They niggas that live in Italy.
Do they have
Niggas that live
FBA
in
lineage?
Italy.
Yeah, they said that their they parents were slaves.
They have FBA lineage if that's what you're asking, but that's not the full criteria for reparations though.
That's what TBI just said, from America and
Okay.
American.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
No, I say and have the lineage. You have
So
to
what-
be
all right,
an
so-
American and have the lineage, and you have to be classified as black.
So you American, classified as black, and you lineage, and you go back, and that lineage leads to a white slave master.
one.
Then what?
This what Pan-African, man. It's crazy.
No, answer the question.
So
It's crazy.
again, right
This
now
nigga-
we're not.
So how many
Don't
people
neglect
fall in that? How many people
Pan-Africanism.
fall in that?
If your lineage
percentage?
leads back to a white
How
person,
many people fall in that? Do you know anybody like that?
But why can't the question be answered?
But all I'm saying,
Yeah, if
why
your
are we
lineage
talking
is
about some
different.
small, minute, very small chance of?
We're trying to
of-
All right, so,
There's 90
It's
or
about
95% of
it's
people
about
that don't fall
understanding.
into that category. That
It's
doesn't make
about
any
clarity.
sense.
It's about clarity.
95%
It's about clarity.
of-
So
It's
really
simple.
quickly again,
Right.
fellas, just to kind of like rehash some of the rules. Let's make sure that we do answer direct questions without deflections and insults. And if you have a follow up, make sure that you ask the follow up inside whichever way that you would like for the person to directly answer it. But just in the mode of like, I think it'd be great to have a productive conversation. And I would like to steer us to a productive conversation wherever that lands us at. I don't want it to get to too much of like after show isms to where let's try and answer the direct question. If you disagree with it, you can also then after answering it pose a separate question if you feel like whether it was in bad faith or if you feel that the question didn't answer what needed to be answered.
It is a bad.
But I do think that it's fair. I think it's fair to answer a direct question as the direct question.
So the answer to that direct question is I'd rather focus on the majority of foundational Black Americans, and we can handle those specific nuances after that.
So you
TBI,
said
TBI, that's a
majority,
deflection though.
the
It does not
majority
answer the
of Black
question.
Americans' lineage doesn't lead back to a white person. Is that what
Does
you're
it-
saying?
What are
does
you
it-
talking about? So are
What
we
does that
white?
matter?
Are we white if we lead back to a white person? Are we white? What does that have to do with anything?
Hey,
These
TBI,
are irrelevant
TBI,
questions, man.
Hey, TBI, really
So that
quick.
means we white then.
TBI.
Are you?
You don't want to answer no
Right.
questions.
So
Yeah, you're right, dog.
I was just about to say that. Right now, I'm not sure what's going on with your mic, but it sounds like like I don't know.
It's not good quality.
It's not good quality at all.
Crackling.
Yeah, it's crackling. It
Yeah.
sounds like it might be in your pocket or
Is
something.
it
like
clear
that. I
now?
have no idea.
Is it clear?
No.
Nah,
Can y'all hear me?
still doing the same thing.
I can hear you.
Oh, let me go out and come back in. Then.
Okay.
Oh, you can hear me?
No, it's still crackling. It's not clear. It's not clear. You're very
Okay.
like distorted.
All right, let me go back and come back in so it's clear for y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, good look.
Again,
But,
I see Fat Boy in the chat. If you want to tag Fat Boy,
Oh
in
yeah,
it, all right.
hey.
Fat Boy also like to turn his camera on too. But
Oh, that
yeah,
man,
how again, however you want to do it, I want to make sure that you do feel that you aren't being ganged up on in it.
But like, can we clarify? It's like you got niggas on here who seemingly like know everything about what they say they talking about, but then when a nigga asks a question to try and get enlightened, all y'all do is like respond in a way like, "Oh, we white now." It's like just answer the fucking question. Like, why can't we just have a regular
What's the
conversation?
point of asking if we go back to somebody white? How does that help us move forward?
How about you
It's
answer the
not-
question?
I know.
then move forward? And
If
maybe
you
you
asking a
see.
dumbass question, why do I gotta answer every question that you ask?
Then
So-
why are you up here if you're not up here to have a conversation?
I'm at so.
I can
You said,
answer.
buddy asked if we go back to somebody white. What does that matter? All right, does that matter? We white now? What does that matter?
Takes away
It's
your
good,
whole
like,
argument. Of
all right, so
lineage
two things. Hey,
reparation.
TB, I'm not sure. Previously, you haven't had this issue, but I think like the last two times, like the mic is still really, really bad. I'm gonna take you to the back end for the moment. Again, see if you can kind of fix it and then come back up. But yeah, at the moment, it's almost impossible to hear like complete sentences. Trey, again, if you want to hit another one of the guys up, feel free sending the link. But like we just kind of can't hear you.
FBA having mic problems tonight, man. I don't know.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the hostility from you, G, towards like FBA.
No,
It
nigga, my
seems like you're
hostility,
trying
my hostility is for niggas who don't just have simple ass conversations and who don't stand on what they say. Like, I much rather talk to an honest nigga who stand on exactly what he say in a clear, concise way versus niggas who like to pivot and redirect conversations and change conversations and it's like who don't like to be right. It's like and get defensive because niggas are asking questions. It's like y'all are the niggas who identify as this, who claim this and claim all this other shit. And then when niggas got genuine questions, niggas get ridiculed for asking questions. I think that's whack.
And let me
You don't think it's kind of heated right now?
I think it's whack the way that y'all respond to questions. That's that's what I think is whack.
I think what he's saying is that his heat isn't directed toward FBA as much as just not answering questions.
It ain't about
I'm
FBA.
just talking about your tone, bro.
Nigga, my tone is based off of how y'all niggas answer questions. It's tiring.
Let's go to A Black. I think A Black had a question.
Built this shit brick by brick. Nah, the question I'm asking. You don't like another way a nigga talk? Nah, my point of asking that question is because I be really trying to find understanding with the whole lineage thing. Because on one hand, y'all will dismiss, like I asked a question about Liberia and Sierra Leone, those Africans. No, they're dismissed. But if I say your lineage somewhere down the line probably leads to a white man or a white woman, do you not see how the powers that be would dismiss your claim for reparations?
You're saying that if our lineage we trace all the way back to
if your reparations are lineage based and they trace your lineage back and it stops at this white man at this plantation or this white woman who snuck around with somebody, they can dismiss it if it's lineage based because they can claim that, oh well, you came from this white man somewhere. You know, we all did. It's a Black American thing, right? That shit was strategic. You know, this whole raping and breeding us, like, and creating these mulattoes and stuff, what was strategic so that we couldn't really ask for this one day, because eventually if you go back.
Hey Black, do you know the 3 criteria for reparations?
Tell me again.
You have to, it's based on lineage, which one you got. The other thing is you have to be an American citizen, and the other thing you have to have claimed Black for like, I think like 2 decades or something like that, or a couple generations.
And that's not even an official criteria. That's like a suggested criteria. That's not even like
but that's what we're working on, like in these reparations panel, the people that are on code, that's what they're pushing for. Because if it's race-based, they'd be unconstitutional. It's got to be lineage-based.
By them criteria, a lot of Africans and Caribbeans could claim it as well. 3 generations in.
And with FBA lineage?
American citizen. Yeah.
And FBA lineage. And they can trace back to American 1870
What do y'all
census.
call them? Like octomaroons? I heard that octomaroons were, this is a new term. I was recently doing research on Tariq Nasheed's channel. I didn't know that and maybe I guess this might be a good space to kind of throw it at where we're at as we're talking about delineation and who deserves it. 1/8 Black gets reparations. Agree, disagree. What is y'all thought? That's what they call.
Do they meet the criteria?
That means your you got 1 Black great grandparent. That's what that means.
Yeah, pretty much.
So not your grandparents. So
do they meet the criteria?
Yeah. It's the next one. So it's like octomaroon. I heard them having like an octomaroon conversation.
Great grandparents. 1 Black great grandparent. And so like a Mariah Carey.
Oh, Mariah Carey only got like 1/8 Black in her.
I
thought she was like closer to like mulatto.
She might be.
Yeah, I think that it's like 1 Black grandparent would kind of make you octomaroon, or do you go back to great grandparent?
I think for 8 is great grand, because you got 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Do they meet the criteria that we just talked about? Those 3.
So if they claim to be Black, would that work?
If they claim to be,
like
if they claim to be Black, for I forgot the time period where they had to claim that, but it's pretty
like 16% black.
So right, so if they claimed that they were black on their government records, birth certificate, all that other stuff, for I forgot however long it is, they have lineage that traces back to the 1870 census, and they are an American citizen, and throughout their lineage, like tracing back to the 1870 census, then they will qualify. Even if they're an Octomaroon, who, even though that sounds like that would be white passing, so typically people that are that white
passing.
Typically, people that are that white passing don't identify mark white on their government records. So that would
this was a new term to me, but I heard it inside like the FBA space, and I was like, huh, that's such an interesting. But it sounds like if you are that you still get it. So like white passing, white people that only have an eighth of black in them would be
if they meet the criteria. If they meet the criteria, yeah. If they were a white passing person who claimed black for however long, which would have been way before reparations was serious, if they were claiming black for whatever reason, even though they were white passing, then they would qualify. Yeah, if they had FBA lineage and also they were an American citizen.
It might be like one of them red niggas. Like niggas they call red, that's like mad, like light or red. Like that's what they call Creole looking type niggas. Yeah,
that's like only one generation removed type of thing. That's like French and black. Creole just French and black.
But I'm saying like they kind of look like that though. Them eighths kind of look like.
I feel like they look like Rock. What's his name? Rock Newman.
Rock Newman. Yeah. He looked like he could be white passing. But Malcolm X, they called him red.
Yeah, Malcolm X was like.
He was a quarter. His mom was.
Yeah, about to say he's like quarter.
His mom was.
So he was a quarter, not an eighth.
Right. He's 3/4 black. Right. He was a quarter white. Is that what you're saying? A black.
Yeah,
his
mom was a mixed product of rape.
Yeah,
she was Caribbean and white, I think.
Oh damn! So because he has also black lineage. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Those three criteria. I think he might be. Saying those three criteria just answer a lot of the questions, and there's so few people that would be an exception. I don't even know. It seems like it's more productive to talk about what to do, how to move forward, how to get this, rather than to harp on the very small percentage of the people that would be.
I don't think niggas are trying to harp on a small percentage. It's about understanding the rules, just clarity of the rules. It's not about harping on a small percentage. It's about understanding what is the rule with clarity. That's really what.
Do you think you understand the rules now with those three criteria?
I understand those three criteria, but I don't think it's as easy. I don't think it's easy to.
No, I think a lot of white people gonna claim black.
Yeah, I understand the criteria, but I don't think it's gonna be easy to clearly identify who has true rights to those criteria. I think.
So fellas, I think that we're at a bit of the reparation conversation, but I do want to kind of refocus us a little bit and get us to another question. So from we almost coming up on a year, the probably 10 months of having some of these conversations. It sounded like you also doubled down on it when it came down to what FBA is and what the movement is. It's not like you said the movement is delineation. FBA is only just the lineage. So you could be an FBA coon, you could be an FBA warrior, a rada, or whatever other words that are being used inside the terminology. But the movement is not specifically ADOS as much as it is delineation for reparations. Maybe is that fair?
The movement is delineation.
Oh, so not for reparations.
Man, there are several movements. There's a reparations.
Okay, all right, cool. That actually
there's a movement. There's a reparations movement, delineation movement. There's a movement to end the vote blue no matter who and be more independent and more strategic in our vote. There's lots of movements that are based.
Okay, so there's no actual one movement for FBA.
No, there's several initiatives.
Or there's so delineation isn't a specifically FBA thing.
It's the foundation of all the foundation of all these movements is our delineating.
Yeah.
Okay, so delineation is the basis of
But what's the purpose of delineation? It's
to
for
support these movements.
Right. All right. So nonetheless, delineation is like there's the people, and then the movement will be delineation. Correct?
I think it's yeah. Go ahead, TBI. I missed the question.
It sounds like that's what you just said. I'm just trying to like say that. So
Can you repeat the question? My fault. Man,
you said I said that FBA is the lineage.
FBA is a lineage.
Delineation would be the movement. You just said delineation is the basis of all the other things.
I mean, yeah, I could see how that would go. I can see. I mean, what I said, I could see how that could be. Like, what? What are you getting so frustrated
I guess
for?
like my bad. I thought that like y'all probably had this part hashed out already to know like yes or no on this part.
I think the word movement.
Go ahead, Trey.
What's the word movement even? What does movement even mean? And real quick, G, what was that economist that you said
that are like pushing towards a common goal?
William
like
Darity.
A large enough group of people that's pushing towards a common goal.
Okay. Well, I guess if how do you be without delineation? There's no group of people.
But like,
so are you answering yes to the question so I can like move on? I'm just trying to move on to the like
yeah.
FBA people. FBA is the lineage. Delineation is the movement. That
yeah. I'll take that. We can move on.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
My fault. G, what was that name for the
William
person?
Darity, Dr.
William Darity.
William Sandy Darity.
Okay. All right. So the question is: has the fight for delineation helped Black progress? If so, how?
Oh man, so many ways, bro.
And I got another follow-up question related to delineation, but we can.
Yeah, go ahead.
First off, is anybody against delineation?
Inside, like what aspect? Like
at all? Are you
Black
against us
people,
delineating?
Are you saying like the general scope of Black people being its own ethnogenesis, or are you saying like delineation from the diaspora when it comes to fighting white supremacy?
Just in general of us self-identifying as our own ethnic identity.
So the ethnogenesis part.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that I'm for the ethnogenesis part. I'm not specifically for the isolation against global white supremacy.
I think we're trying to do that. I don't think that's part of the movement, Q.
Oh, it's not?
No.
So the movement is Pan-African.
No, the movement is for us to just focus on our specific ethnic identity. That's the movement. Where FBA,
but like to do that, to do what? Like you like to focus. Like I'm sorry. Like that just like.
Go ahead, G. Actually, go ahead.
Like if my goal is to focus on my ethnic identity, I hear you. For what outcome?
Just like any
peace
other
of mind.
Just like any other group. So first, a part of that goes into reparations. So only our specific group, because this whole flat blackness and everybody's Black American, that's not true. We were here first. We were the foundational people of America. So that's first. And to also claim a lot of our cultural things, as has been talked about tonight, that have been tried to be pulled in all these different directions and just fall under blackness and African, hip hop is African and all this, is to specifically identify us and everything that is tied to us, our movement, our cultures, our icons, Black History Month, some of the stuff, our traditions, all that stuff is tied to us. So that's really the key reason for delineating, because all this time we've been trying to blend in with people and say and people have been trying to make us these lost Africans. It's like, no, we're foundational Black Americans. We built this country. A lot of our blood, sweat, and tears has gone into this country. A lot of our ancestors have died in this country. So that's really why we had to start to delineate, and also to get negative stigmas, because a lot of groups from other ethnic groups would commit crimes and it would just fall under us. And so now we're like, hey, we need to delineate from all this stuff. We keep our stuff, y'all keep our stuff. And they already been delineating. It's a lot of people from the diaspora that would get here and say, hey, I'm not Black. I'm Nigerian. I'm not Black. I'm Ghanaian. So they already been delineating. So we're starting to like, okay, cool. You be Ghanaian, you be Jamaican. I'm foundational Black American, as it's always been. So that's kind of like a quick synopsis of background of why delineation is needed for us.
If I could add real quick, it's based on what Claude Anderson prescribed in Powernomics, is what he said what we need to do as Black Americans, which is to identify as our own, drop this whole Black and Brown coalition thing, and then self-advocate. So that way we need lineage-based tangibles, which is another thing. We're trying to get away from the term reparations, because if it's a hot topic, we just need to like lineage-based compensation, compensatory justice, things like that, because we'll have a better shot at, you know, being able to get people behind it if, you know, because that word's kind of been sullied. So basically, I just want to throw that out there because that's one of the latest, you know, updates I've heard people talk about in these FBA like you know, platforms where people are having discussions. But basically, we need to do this politically, because a lot of these other groups advocate for their own specific groups, but we have a habit of advocating for everyone else and inviting everyone to the cookout, and then they don't really reciprocate. So
okay,
if we don't,
okay. Oh, all right. So yeah, appreciate you and TBI in like the POV. So I guess to continue to build on the conversation, has delineation worked for any group, and how? Will that help Black Americans against the global system of white supremacy? Are there any examples or like, you know, that we can lean on that shows us that delineation could be a successful way? Or is this kind of like, we're going to do this and kind of see what happens?
I think every group delineates. When Latinos get over here, they delineate and they get things specifically for their group. You look at all of these Asian people. You had an Asian hate crime bill that was specifically for Asians. They delineated from every other group. We are the only group that haven't been delineating. We've been trying to group ourselves in with everybody else. That's
when they say Asian, are they talking about like Chinese, Japanese, Cambodian? Like that would be like the delineation part when we talk about like the blanket blackness. Same difference, like you said Hispanics or Latins or whichever group. Are they talking about Mexicans, Colombians, Guatemalans? Like that would be the delineation part to it. Like usually like the blanket group is the ones that get like whatever you're saying, not necessarily.
And when they delineate, do they dismiss their homeland? Do they like ostracize themselves from the place that they came when they delineate?
But this is our homeland. We're not doing it.
But like the thing is with the AAIP Act or whatever, that is the Asian island specific. All these niggas came together. They didn't say, no, this the Chinese hate crime bill or the Japanese hate crime bill or the Indian hate crime bill or the Indonesian hate crime bill. They all came together and said, we need something for all of us.
So there have been documented instances where people from other homelands, it was a Nigerian woman, she got in some political position and she said she was trying to do things for her group, Nigerians. I can't pronounce her name correctly, but Ilian Armar or
who elected this bitch?
I don't what.
Probably us, because
like me. I'm saying like you saying a public official who was elected by her constituents.
My point is her mindset of focusing on her people.
Who voted for this bitch?
What does that have to do with her mindset of focusing on her people? I don't know.
Who even gave her the power to
the roles from the votes, or what do you want me to do about that?
Like my point is, who put her in power? Who put her in power?
What's her name, G? What's her name, TBI?
Are you talking about the Nigerian or Ilian Omar that said she was?
He's talking about the Omar girl. That's
Ilian Omar. She's Somali.
No, she's Somali. But that's not the example he's talking about. He's talking about
that was my next example.
That's a better example.
That was my next example.
Because she specifically said that she's looking out for her specific Somalians.
You got the clip, or like she ain't my like she in in Minnesota? I don't even know what is it. Midwest, right? She's like in Minnesota or some shit like that.
What you need, G, to believe it? What you need?
No, what I'm saying,
he just want the clip.
I just want to hear like specifically what she because I find it hard to believe she ran on a platform in Midwest Minnesota that I'm here to look out for Somalis, and the whites put her in position to do so. I find that difficult to believe.
That's another thing too. Like white supremacists, they don't say this is for white people. They don't say white supremacy, but they still.
Oh, so if she lives in a district of Somalis, then that makes sense. Like she's talking to
all
her
people in her district are Somali and not Americans.
I'm going by what the chat is saying. They're saying she lived with Somalis.
Oh, so everybody in her district is Somali. So
they saying that she live in a Somali district.
Oh, okay, in America. Okay, I got you.
So if she in a heavy Somali populated town in her congressional district, then okay, maybe it makes sense to politic to your voting base.
So why doesn't that apply to us? Shouldn't we want somebody to look out for our specific tribe?
Of course.
That's the whole point.
Oh, okay. So we're getting somewhere now. Okay.
Who said we shouldn't?
You can still.
Bro, why are you being so hostile?
That's what I'm saying. It's like we trying to do stuff for us. This is crazy, bro.
I'm hostile because I said who said we shouldn't.
I'm talking about your tone, bro. Like you barely like.
It's insane, man.
Like let me see snapping, bro. Like I don't understand it. Because you agree, but you upset that you agree type shit.
So because I speak with a little passion, now I'm upset. Like I hate to be stereotyped by my own people like this because the niggas talk with some bass in his voice. Like that's kind of sad. I gotta be an angry black man just because I got a little tone and bass in my voice. That's disappointing. It's disappointing to say the least.
We working for you, bro. We want this for you too, man.
You know what I mean? This would be a good thing. It's what the only thing like. You seem like you're upset, but man, I'm so proud of this FBA movement and black people finally, bro. Like we're in a dire straits. This is an all hands on deck situation because of what Clyde Anderson was saying. If we don't delineate, we're going to become a permanent ethnic last class citizen. So, my fault. Q, you were about to show some receipts.
Oh no, I was just reading the This was like the first thing that I found that spoke about her. Advancing a Somali first agenda. Says Omar appears not just to put her Somali ethnicity first, but sees her job in Congress as representing the interest of the East African country and its government. Doesn't necessarily say I'm gonna keep reading. While I am in Congress, no one will take Somali's seat. Read a translation that she retweeted. Omar, who accused Americans who support Israel's right to exist of divided loyalty, seems to have forgotten her job is to look after the American interest.
We got like a lot of FBA people in politics and in Congress, mayors, governors, councilmen. Do we know of any that have a lot of black first agendas?
Nah, actually the opposite. The majority of the Congressional Black Caucus has immigrant background. So why would they fight for reparations when they don't qualify?
But I don't think he was talking about like the Congressional Black Caucus. He's talking about like the elected black officials who are FBA based.
No, bro, that's another thing, bro. This delineation thing is so new. A lot of the old heads don't know
the delineation thing. Like we know we're black. Like you can still identify.
No. You think you identify? You say Africa is your homeland.
No, I say that I identify as black, but I don't exclude Africa at the same time.
You said your home. You call Africa your homeland.
Listen, I can understand the concept of FBA, and I can still disagree with it. I can still just call Africa your homeland. It is.
Okay then. Okay then. So
where are you from in Africa, Black?
You say what?
Where are you from in Africa?
You just mentioned other immigrant groups that come here and they get things because they delineate it, but it's because they have a homeland behind them. They don't dismiss their homeland and where they come from. You know,
she has family in Somalia that she's like close family. Do you have like cousins and stuff in Africa?
Yeah, where are you from in Africa?
I probably do. Don't know them.
She does. She brought her brother over here and married him.
I got the same enemy as she has, which is white supremacy. And that's what y'all don't see what the divisiveness is. You can still identify, you can still acknowledge who you are and where you're from, and you can still build international relations because black people should be a nation, and every nation of power has international allies and relations. Thinking that we just going to exclude Africa is stupidity.
We're not
Like,
excluding Africa.
what is
We're
Africa?
just saying
What is
we
Africa?
are-
Yeah, I guess
from America. That's it.
Omar wouldn't be like the perfect example only because of like I
Huh?
don't think that delineation has benefited her and her people specifically in America.
Okay,
Where
can I
like
use another example?
if you were
Somalia
getting
cooked.
if you were speaking about like I imagine delineation in America in like some version of beneficial y'all brought up like the Stop Asian Hate Act,
So,
but that
so why is she not a good
would not
example,
have
bro?
been like an example of delineation as much as it was like a conglomerate of similar people coming together and
Which
not
is
delineating.
they're delineating themselves, whether it's they just delineating themselves at a different level, but it's still delineation. It's like, hey, I can't go and get it.
Right, but they're delineating themselves at the diaspora spot, not the like
they don't
specific
say,
like
I'm
Colombian
American.
or
Not nationality,
Ecuador.
but across a diaspora that goes across different borders.
Yeah, like the examples that y'all used were of like diaspora delineation.
So listen, that's a form of delineation. Yeah, but when people come over here from other countries, what do they say they're from? They claim their countries, right?
Right, but what are the laws that and things that have been passed?
So what's the difference in when we do it
or
versus
for like
somebody
that
else
ethnic group or like that diaspora?
What's that?
So like yes, a person from Ecuador will come over here and say that they're from Ecuador, but
isn't that delineating?
But everything. No.
That's not delineating by saying you're Ecuadorian. Are you serious?
So then we already delineated. We could say we FBA delineated. Okay, go home.
Yeah, like no, they don't have any receipts that have like power that actually.
But that's not delineation. Is my point.
Just like, it might be like the fact that they're Latin American or they're Hispanic or they're that they're from a South American country, but it's not specific to that direct region.
And
Same
also,
thing with like the Stop Asian Hate. It's not
also
specific for just Chinese people.
And Q, also when they come here, when they fill out a census, they not checking Ecuadorian. Them niggas check Latina and Hispanic.
If you ask them what they are,
matter of fact, when they come to America though, and it's time to actually file some paperwork, they gonna check ethnicity, Hispanic, non-Hispanic, check Hispanic.
If you ask them what they are, they're gonna say
and then when they go down the race, they're not gonna delineate. They're gonna say white. So they're gonna call themselves white Hispanics in America. That's not delineation. That's adaptation. That's
but the thing is, like, you already agree with this, but I don't understand why you're debating against it so passionately, because you would agree that Black people, foundational Black Americans advocating for people of color as a blanket group or disenfranchised groups or minorities and all that, that's not productive, right? You would agree that, right?
That was not productive.
We shouldn't fight for people of color, minorities, disenfranchised groups, anything that includes us where we're not entitled to.
We don't need to tie our problems to any other intersections of people.
That's what delineation is for.
But my point and what I'm speaking about here is not about see you're trying to make me say something that I'm not. What I'm speaking about is the breakdown in logic. What TBI just simply said is that they delineate by saying they're Ecuadorian, and what I'm simply saying is that when Hispanics come to America, they don't delineate. What they do. No, listen.
Can you call any Hispanic a Mexican? Like if you call a Puerto Rican a Mexican, they're gonna be cool with that.
They're gonna say
Puerto Rican. But there's no rights that are given delineation, Trey. Like
no rights to giving it just to Hispanics.
Right. What is delineation?
Just to Mexicans. They give it to Hispanics.
Delineation. So hold up. So Trey, do you agree with TBI? Trey, do you agree with TBI that delineation is only self-identification?
You're identifying your.
So why the fuck are we even fighting for something that is self-identified? That don't even make sense.
Because we haven't been fighting for our own specific lineage yet.
Nigga, go. So what are we fighting for if you can just wake up and claim it?
Bro, because because that's not how we move politically. We're trying to adjust.
He just said it's self-identification, though, Trey. He just said that.
Self-identify to delineate. Do you agree?
No. You said, look, that's not delineation. Just claiming that you're something.
Give me the definition of it. Give me delineation. What is it? What does it mean?
Are you not trying to claim a certain classification in America or no?
What does it mean?
You're trying to make America acknowledge you as a specific classification. Yes or no?
Is that what you're saying it means?
Yes, nigga. Yes.
So delineation is only in America. Is that what you're saying?
No, is that what I
you
said?
You just said America trying to classify you as a certain group. Is that what you're saying?
Nigga, yes.
That's not what delineation is.
I'm confused.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Delineation is. You just made up.
Here we go.
Here we go. I think this is as far as we can get. G, I think we can move forward.
Y'all niggas aren't even being real right now.
Well, let me see if I can get y'all the definition.
Hold on.
This is the delineation by definition.
Let me ask one question.
Okay.
Let me ask one question, because as it relates to what we're talking about, you said we're fighting for delineation. Tell me what that means.
But why are you so angry, bro? You confused?
Because y'all niggas lying.
Well,
y'all niggas do is lie, bro.
Let's answer the question.
It's two different things.
I
get it, but answer the question. I do want to ask you answer the question.
We lying? What are we lying?
What are we lying? We're lying that we're foundational black America. Is that what we're lying?
What are you fighting to delineate from?
Really quickly, hey fellas, I would love for Trey and or TBI to answer his direct question, and then we can kind of move on inside the conversation. TBI, Trey, whichever one of y'all want to get to it.
What's the direct question, man? You said
what are you fighting to delineate from?
We're fighting from delineate from these causes that we used to fight for up until recently, which included Black and brown, which put us with Latinos and Africans and everybody else that has melanin. Things like minority, things like we are talking about fighting for our own specific lineage.
Like in the name of who? What does that mean, though? Who own specific lineage? Where?
Like as
foundational Black Americans,
but like Asians or like how Asians don't delineate specifically like Cambodian or
they
Chinese.
Do. Well, how about this?
Not on this example. And I think that's what he's saying. Like
that's what I'm
saying.
Any
official governmental document, there's not a delineation when it comes down to like the big diaspora group. Like Asians,
we're working on
Asian.
That.
I think that what he's saying is that there's no example in America. Whether like y'all talked about whiteness and how like that's actually like a amalgamation of a bunch of different European groups that at one point in time wasn't considered white, but then grouped together to be that thing. And because of that, they became a diaspora that was powerful, right? And that became global white supremacy. Same difference with like Hispanics. They grouped all the South American countries, even though that they delineated each country within each country by themselves. When they come to America, they don't delineate when it comes down to getting things for for the group. The group typically moves under we're Ecuadorian, so we need Ecuadorian whatever. It's under the lens of Hispanic. Same thing when you go to Asian. They don't say, hey, we need Japanese specific or Chinese specific.
They got reparations for Japanese people.
Go ahead.
That wasn't for all China. They got reparations for Japanese people. That wasn't for all Asians.
Yeah, exactly.
And another example, you remember the guy who was in the room, and then the police officer came and unalived him while he was just chilling because she found the round room. You know what I'm talking about? It was a story for 5 or 6 years ago. You know what I'm talking about? It was Bookham John was the guy's name, and I forgot. And the police officer, FBA's galvanized to hold the police officer accountable. And what the family did after they got the reward from the police officer, the payout, is they made a scholarship specifically for Caribbean Black Americans. So if we have people who have scholarships specifically for Caribbean Black people, and if we're in a group that they qualify for what we get, then that's dirty dealing, bro. That's not fair. Like that's a scam.
They're delineating.
So all we're doing is meeting the same energy that these other people had. Like, gee, like that doesn't. I don't understand. Like, gee, what part of that?
I just think niggas don't know English. Like this nigga said, delineation is self-identity, but yet we're fighting for something you can claim yourself.
Listen,
like,
TBR, man, it's in the weeds though, bro. Hey, G, you right, bro. I'll give you that. That's like so like on the minor detail, bro.
It's not a minor detail. You just said we in this fight for delineation, and niggas are saying it's just what you claim yourself. That's
you
not
already
much of a fight.
Because you already agreed that we shouldn't be fighting for people of color and all the other stuff. So
but that's not what delineation means to me. That's not what delineation means to me.
Well,
fighting for
that's what it means to us.
Yes. No, but see, when we talked about delineation, it was about a pathway to reparations. But now it's about separating from black and brown. So like, which one is it?
You have to separate because reparations is the only.
You have to separate. So who acknowledges you though? Why is it important to separate so that who can acknowledge you as FBA?
Listen, if we don't separate and delineate, they can give the reparations to anybody that says they're black.
Who's they? Who's they, my nigga? Who's they?
The government. The United States government.
So we need to delineate for the American government to acknowledge us as a people, as a classification?
Bro, why you saying out, bro?
Because this is what the fuck I said from the jump. It's like y'all niggas refuse to.
Delineation is for the. We're saying for us
to listen. You refuse to listen.
So fellas, let me jump in really quickly.
Y'all niggas refuse to listen, bro. It's like we gotta go through all these circles just to say, "Oh yeah, you're right."
Hey, everybody, panel. Let me ask this next question because if not, we will be stuck on specifically this question. And shout out to the super chat before we go any further. Again,
Africans love you.
Just to do some really quick housekeeping, I would like to say that super chats are available. We are streaming live on the G-ish podcast and on the To Be Fair Show podcast. Again, it looks like we close to 50 viewers live right now. Make sure that y'all hit a lot of the guys, they have the cash apps up there. Hit the cash apps if you're fucking with anything that any of them are saying. But beyond that, make sure we got super chat, super thanks. Make sure that y'all show love to the channels. Again, this is all of us having these conversations in public for y'all. Contributions are appreciated inside any capacity that you can. With that said, saying all those things to X, to continue moving the conversation a little bit forward, and we do want to get into the call-ins within the next 15, but I'll ask y'all this as we're on delineation. What has the delineation movement accomplished so far?
Ooh, man,
division.
I mean, but that's the whole. I mean, that's low.
That's the biggest.
Africa got 54 countries divided, man.
But that's the purpose. Black is to divide ourselves and set ourselves apart. Like that's literally division
like
is
everybody else
delineation.
Like everybody else been doing.
Yeah, so we gonna do what everybody else do, and that's what works for black people.
That's bro. If that's what they're doing, like we can't be in a game and then have an open door policy with people that don't have an open door policy for us. Like we can't have a one-sided
only logical people.
There's literally no group on earth with the same set of circumstances and trajectory through history as black people. We cannot do what everybody else does, and things work.
But the other black people are doing that though.
Yes,
I'm talking about
what other black people?
Super tribal.
They have like 500 tribes.
So now they black people.
What is,
bro? Now you're being bad faith, bro. You
know I'm just saying. Now there are other black people, but even them, they don't have
Africa divided.
Us, they still got their own land. They still got armies. They still have resources. What the fuck do we have? We got HBCUs and churches that we built. Everything else,
they don't even own their resources. What are you talking about?
Man, but
everything else, somebody else.
Hey, TBL, let's keep them right there though, bro. Because you just identified that they have their own separate tribes in Africa, right? They even have tribal wars and genocides where they attack each other by tribe.
And so does Europe, and so does
okay, so why can't
China, so does everybody in the world?
So why can't we have our tribe and they get to have their tribes, but we're supposed to be open door
our
to everybody?
Tribe is still what Malcolm X said is lost.
No, it's not, bro. We're not some lost Africans, bro. We know who we are. You don't know who you are.
We have people creating factions called FBA and these and other groups.
So we're just generic,
led by con artists. And we don't own shit. You're talking about a country that you built for somebody else that you don't own.
Are we just generic Africans? Like displaced
No.
Africans?
We did
Are we
generic.
displaced
Yo,
Africans?
hey, yo, what's a generic African, my
Well,
nigga?
we are.
Like,
No,
yo,
we
that's
are.
hilarious.
That's what we are.
Like,
We
hey,
generic
hey, what's a
Africans, bro.
generic African, Trey? Like,
We
what's
don't belong to nobody, man.
I mean, if we don't have a tribe and we just
African,
everybody,
It's something that you would never
if it's
understand.
just
Sudanese
Pan-African,
and Arab, not
yo,
Yeah,
a
we-
generic African is
Ethiopians look decent.
you know what I'm
hilarious.
saying, bro? That's what they want us to
That's
be, like
basically what we have to be, bro.
a
Why we
generic
call
African.
African Americans?
Generic African.
So I'm saying, bro, like we're not some displaced Africans over here, bro.
Why
Like,
we call African Americans and not foundational Black Americans?
because of Jesse Jackson, the Boule them, like that was started being pushed in the 80s. Like none of our grandmothers were calling themselves African Americans. They were calling themselves colored, Negro, stuff like that.
Negro, colored, nigga, slave.
Black.
But did they
No,
look at
yeah.
themselves look at themselves as being from Africa? And that's
Not
why
our
the
great
name-
great grandmothers. No, they said they were Indians. A lot of us, our great grandmothers said they were.
So why did
I
African
can tell, A
Americans?
Black. I think
Said
you, A Black. I don't think you have full FBA lineage. Like, respectfully, you're not phenotypic.
But Trey, you just said the 1/8 rule. Now you talking about full FBA lineage.
But no.
What is it? Which
I mean,
one is it?
I mean, hey, by the definition, A Black does qualify. But I'm just talking about bloodline wise.
But see, that's foul. Like,
Trey, are you
does
full
he fit the
FBA
rules or
lineage?
nah? You don't even like the rules. You want strict the rule. You like an FBA extremist. Like,
But Trey, are you FBA lineage like 100% as well?
you like FBA ISIS?
Man,
you got any white in your family?
Like, if I trace back to the 1700s, there's a plantation where
prior to me after the 1700s, do you have white in your blood prior to the 1700s, or is it just the 1700s?
I know you got white in that blood.
I've heard you talk about this before. I felt like it was something different. I'm just trying to make sure I understand.
It's definitely white in that blood.
This is what I was talking about.
Nowhere in the 1900s was there any mixed race or
not since the plantation.
Not since the plantation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Hey, Johnny, call in.
So wait, so like you think that's like a flag of honor?
I didn't say it was. I just answered the question.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
I thought I heard you. I
don't really understand the questions, bro. That was John that had a showed a picture of a family member that was white. You think you're confused?
No, I thought y'all bonded over like having white lineage. That y'all
the lineage I'm talking about is from the plantation. Q. And
okay,
yeah, it was
so
raped during
only
slavery,
from the plantation.
Yeah, it was raped during slavery. So,
but you know the lineage don't start at the plantation. Them white folks came from somewhere.
Right. It was they were Dutch.
All right, so fellas, I guess this is to wrap up the delineation part of the conversation. When we talk about white supremacy, when we talk about global white supremacy and the power that it yields across the diaspora, and then when we isolate it to like specifically Black Americans, is there power in unity with the diaspora when it comes down to fighting global white supremacy and American white supremacy? Well, I'll place it directly at global white supremacy first. Fellas, thoughts?
Ideally, it would be nice, but that's not what we really experienced. I think if like Burkina Faso,
you saying yes?
I say that would be nice, but I don't think that we should like wait on that. We need to like work.
You shouldn't wait.
Right. I don't think
should be like.
But hear me out though. Until there's Pan-Africanism in Africa, we're not trying to do Pan-African over here.
Exactly.
If Africa's like we're all one big tribe, we're gonna get the white man out and we're gonna build and have our own resources. Then we'll be like, yeah, we Black too. But if they have all individual tribes that come over here,
you're answering like a completely different question that you're like framing. I'm just
that would be the only way.
Like in fighting white supremacy on a global level, would it be beneficial for unity across the diaspora?
Only with people who are on code. There's no point in uniting with people who are not on code.
Isn't that with any resistance though?
Right. You can't unite with people who aren't on code with you. The people from the diaspora who are on code, they're welcome to come help. Please, I mean, that's fine.
Resistance in America. That's been every resistance in Black America. The majority of Black people have never been on code. It's always been a small amount that have fought for Black people, whether it's civil rights, whether it's rebellions, whether it's even, if you want to consider FBA, whether it's the Black Panthers. It's always a small majority that's fighting for the majority.
Yo,
so
the president
we never always on code.
We see that.
Yeah, like the president of Burkina Faso right now, he's on code. If they build something up over there, I would love for us to be in a situation to do trade with them. But if there's people over there that are getting all this U.S. aid, they're not sharing it with the citizens. They have all this corrupt government, everything over there.
Why would they share U.S. aid? What my
with
bad.
their
What
citizens? I'm saying these political leaders in Africa who are getting exposed by those for this U.S. aid, but these countries are very poor. But
so are they not like sharing the condoms with their citizens? What are you saying?
No, it's not just. I'm talking about the cash payments because
so we go ignore the CIA that goes in there and creates these puppets.
But they do the same thing. They do the same thing to us, yeah. But Biden went over to Africa and gave them $40 billion.
They have something they can take back though. We don't.
Biden went over to Africa and gave them $40 billion, like as slavery for damages from slavery. Like he didn't give us reparations.
$40 billion damages from slavery. Let me look that up.
In Ghana, the place that sold us. Yeah.
Joe Biden gave Africa $40 billion.
Yeah. Look it up, man.
No, he specifically just said Ghana. I know good and god daggone well Ghana ain't get 40 billion from America. For shit.
I'm looking it up.
Ghana ain't get 40 billion for America for shit.
You might mean million.
I might mean million. No, it's here's how President Biden can get the bill on the promise. Biden-Harris administration announced plan to.
Yeah, I don't even see any of that. Are you talking about like 50 billion in
$55 billion? It's on the
million.
Council.
Million.
55. It says billion, bro. I'm gonna put the link in the article.
Send the link inside the thing. I guess I can only show what I see at the moment.
And it was for them to set that gauge though.
This is like 40 billion Ghana true fake the condom thing, but yeah.
So Biden paid these niggas to accept gayness?
Right, exactly. And that's who you want to partner. And that's who you want to partner with.
Here's how President Biden.
Same with the vaccine.
Man, what are you talking about?
What am I looking at?
Do a control F on. Yeah, there you go. $150 billion.
Okay.
Invest. It's a plan to commit it, but they ain't got it.
Oh yeah, they didn't send it.
Yeah, man, this is all this, and they're not even in office, so you know that shit got axed right with the US IID, nigga. All that shit getting axed, all that extra spending.
I don't think they sent anything to them at all.
And it didn't, and Trey, it didn't all go to Ghana. Like,
that was. There's another story about Angola.
Shut up.
Bro, you're acting like we didn't just discover America.
Well, no, you just gave like
you just said it. You said got 50 for the slaves in Ghana, nigga.
You said specific space and a specific amount.
You just said
what it was, and none of it was true.
You might mean.
That's what you said. You said they got billions for slaves.
You might mean
Ghana also.
Yeah, Ghana is in the article. Let me find more information.
Maybe you mean Ukraine and Israel getting billions.
I guarantee you, Ghana ain't get billions from America for shit other than to test out some shit on them niggas. That's it.
That's what they get money to do. America gives them money.
Nigga, you said it was for slave relief. That's what you said.
Man, Biden made a speech up there talking about how slavery was bad and how everything they apologized and everything else, and then gave them a bunch of money. I saw the speech.
What was it like? 50 billion?
Like what's a bunch of money, bro?
Like $1 million, like some condoms.
All
right, so as Trey's looking this up, let me continue moving the conversation. After this question, we will start bringing in panelists from the chat. To start off, let me ask y'all. We'll move to reparations really quickly. I'll ask TBI, Trey, and then we'll move to the panel. A Black and G. is the FBA movement primarily based around reparations, or is there other ways that Black people can advance without it?
Man, I think if we get any lineage-based tangibles at all, that'll be better than what we got from the Democrats, because they don't recognize us unless it's in the group.
So I'll ask it again.
Is it no? You said it's all about reparations, right? You said it's all about reparations, right?
No, but you made the comparison point, like what we got from the Democrats. I asked, is the FBA
said it's all about reparations, right?
Yo, hey,
no, I asked, is the FBA movement,
when they do get to see FBA trade, they gonna cut you a check, bro. You gonna be on the next. You gonna be on the next. Like you gonna be on Fox News. They gonna have you on there for sure. They gonna make sure that they give you a platform. They gonna cut you a check.
The question specifically, like again, this has nothing to do with the Democrats or anything like that. Is the FBA movement primarily based around reparations, or is there other ways that Black people can advance without it?
Can I tell you how my original answer applies to this? Because I heard your question.
Okay.
Because you said, is it just about reparations, right?
Okay.
You said, is it just about reparations?
I'm saying, is there other ways that Black people can advance without it?
If we get any lineage-based tangibles at all, that would be an accomplishment for the FBA movement. We're about lineage-based tangibles.
What would be some examples?
But hold on, wait.
Okay.
Just to make sure we stay to it. So I guess I don't know if, like I said, any lineage-based tangibles like would be accepted. I'm just asking, is the movement primarily based, and again, lineage-based tangibles, I imagine that's like another colloquialism for like reparations. Is the movement based around getting reparations, or is there other ways that Black people can advance without it? Like, you're not directly answering any question at all right now that I'm asking.
No, it's not. It's not all about reparations. No.
Okay, and can Black people advance without getting reparations as a group in whole in America?
Can we advance? I think we need reparations, or else we're going to become a permanent underclass, because they gave all this money to everybody else.
So if Black people don't get reparations, they will become a permanent underclass.
Right, because they gave money to everybody else but us.
And hey, really quick, we do have a super chat, so I want to read that as they come in. He does want to flip the question. This is Mr. Parallel. He says, let's flip the Q&A. G-ish Pod and A Black. How has Pan-Africanism helped foundational Black Americans?
Great question.
I think Fatboy has similar to this, but yeah, I'll pose it. I'll leave it up just so y'all can read it.
Well, I would say just in short, I think that some of the greatest Black American leaders of our history would be like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, as just two examples. And they are both two men who are quoted speaking about one of their biggest inspirations being Marcus Garvey. And so I'll just leave that at that.
So how does it help us?
Yeah,
because it inspired our greats. Like,
who inspired Marcus Garvey? Was it Booker T. Washington?
He was one for sure.
Yeah,
and he couldn't get no traction in the Caribbean.
Yeah, so look, you passed the torch, but see, I didn't take anything away from Booker T, but my point is, Marcus Garvey was cited for the same reasons, Trey, you cited him and gave him credit for. So let's just be honest. You said it earlier. You gave him credit. What did you give Marcus Garvey credit for earlier in the show?
But for putting together a movement of Black people, focus on Black people, excluding white people.
That's what Martin Luther King. That's exactly what MLK said.
But words. If you talk about Marcus Garvey as a way that Pan-Africanism helped Black America, then do you think that if he wasn't able to get that traction in the Caribbean, and it took him being around us to get traction, then did he just come here and benefit from what we already had going?
Look, Trey. I read some of his memoirs, and what he wrote was that and he was a well-traveled Jamaican. When he came to America, he was so inspired by the black communities that he saw, because he never saw them anywhere in the world. The way that they dress, the economies, just the style, the affluence. Marcus Garvey didn't see this anywhere in the world as it relates to black people. Only in America.
This is crazy.
We inspire him.
Travel so many places, but he didn't go to Africa.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. But this is the question was, how did Pan-Africanism help Black Americans? So it's an example of Booker T. Washington and Marcus Garvey, who he came here to meet Booker T. Washington. Let's be clear.
Right.
Exactly, nigga. But meeting with a Jamaican who identifies as an Afro-Jamaican, like I'm giving a very clear answer as to how an idea of Pan-Africanism helped the Black American experience. Booker T. Washington.
Hey, Marcus Garvey. We do have another super chat. I want to read these as they come in. I don't want to mispronounce the name, but I think it's Chikwe Igwe. FBAs have taken their eyes off the prize. The prize is not reparations, it's STEM degrees, home ownership, Lord. Early retirement, and intact homes. Do y'all disagree with that?
I have a STEM degree. I already have a STEM degree. And I have a home. I already have all these things.
Man, so respectfully, bro, but I'm just not. I'm not taking.
Do you think that do you think that
you an engineer? You an engineer?
I'm in IT.
Not like an engineer. Like
I'm an IT business analyst. That's what I am. Yeah, I'm not an engineer. No.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like an engineer common thing or what. That's all.
So, TBI, let me ask you this question. TBI, let me ask you this question. Yep. So, would you say that with you having a STEM degree, you having a home,
yep,
and you're also married, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Like, so in an intact home, do you not think that is like a blueprint for success for Black Americans?
I think we're already doing that, but it's like
you think that most Black people have STEM degrees and home ownership.
I think
you've been doing that. You've been doing that.
A lot of Black people have.
No, I'm we're talking about right now, like for the blueprint for what success could look like on a large scale for Black people. Are we saying that right now Black people have STEM degrees, home ownership, and are married?
Q.
Or that you're an outlier? I think that you're a successful outlier. That's fire. Do you think that represents the majority of Black people?
That still doesn't, with me having all that still doesn't, we still need to be repaired. Just because I have
that's not what I was.
Yeah,
are you saying could restitution?
It sound like you agree.
Who, me?
Which it sounds like you agree with Chuck Wu.
Me, that STEM degrees, home ownership, early retirement, intact.
That's kind of like
would be like most beneficial.
No, the second sentence. The second sentence there. The prize is not reparations. Capital, not reparations. It's STEM degrees.
I don't know how important my opinion is in this, but my focus is not personally on reparation as much as it is to get literally almost exactly what he just said.
So cute.
The thing that whether white people decide on reparations or not, because that's who you have to go to, because those are the people in power with politics. If Black people own high earning degrees, if Black people have a high level of ownership, if let's say majority, so we're saying 70-80% of Black people own homes, they own high earning degrees, and they have marriages in which have 2-family homes and they're raising their kids in that, and they are on track for early retirement, I think the Black community on par is in a great situation.
We're not.
We're
not saying those are bad things. You can do both.
Is that not the prize?
No, we can do both. Just like look at the Jews. They are one of the wealthiest people in the world, and they still receive billions in aid. Nobody is saying nothing about that. It's like they're some of the wealthiest people in the world, and they still receive billions of dollars. But when we say we need aid for something that actually happened to us, we're like, no, don't focus on that. Just focus on STEM degrees. That doesn't make that's what you can do both of them.
So has the Jewish people's success came at the hand of aid?
Yes.
No. So they're successful because of aid. is what you're saying.
Yeah, bro, they were getting wiped out, bro, until we aided them.
They received reparations.
All right, so Jewish people are only successful because of Holocaust reparations.
So you don't think
reparations, military support, all that
in reparations help jumpstart their
country,
people?
giving them a nation.
So what is like the stereotype that runs through like the early hundreds of Jewish people?
Banking,
like banking and control of money, right?
Yeah.
So how did they start all that?
So
where did they get the funding to start?
They didn't get that from reparations. What are you talking? They got that from like taxes.
You trying to compare us to like
what is it like?
But so you're saying
what did they do with the reparations?
Was it the interest scheme? I'm not like the best.
What they did with the reparations money? Did they blow it, or do you think
they already had power before?
No, they was they've been rich.
They had money prior to
FBA. They've been rich since
World War
II
in
the Bible. They've been rich.
I get that.
Right, like that's not.
They didn't just blow the reparations money.
They did.
But that's different. Again, like it sounds like they already had their power base prior to reparations. Reparations was an additive, not what they focused. The prize wasn't reparations; it was an additive to it.
So why are you saying the prize shouldn't? Because I
wouldn't imagine that like getting cash payment from America would be the end goal as much as like having high earning people working, having home ownership, actually having a higher rate of ownership in general, having two family households that produce successful kids, and having our working class retire early.
We're not.
I'm confused that like why wouldn't that be a prize?
When do we say that's a bad thing?
I didn't. Trey asked me if I agreed with what was being said. Hey, back and we about to get y'all. But to me, what Chikwe what he listed is a really good list of things that would be black people on the correct path that I don't agree with. I mean, I don't disagree with. To answer this specifically, do you disagree with that, Trey? Maybe that'll help me understand.
No, I do not disagree that we should have intact families, but I think that would be much easier if we were made whole. I think people in poverty treat people in poverty, victims of white supremacy, treat each other very horribly. So I think
if black people had STEM degrees, high earning, higher earning professions, and they had home ownership, as well as intact homes, because it's not like a one thing that he said.
Bro,
do you not think that would be successful for black people?
Bro, I think that
this is the question you asked me, so I'm just asking.
That's not the question. That's not the question I asked.
Like you just talked about reparations and how like needing all three things completed.
No, that's not the question I asked.
So you just did. You said
what I said is you said reparations is not the prize.
And I said no. It's the other things that he listed.
Okay,
STEM, home ownership, early retirement, and intact family.
I think reparations is a prize because we are owed a debt, and other people got free money and they weren't owed anything. So we need to focus on getting what we're owed. And I think if we had, that's another.
What other group looked at reparations as a prize though? As the prize, like that's
they didn't need reparations because nothing was taken from them except for the groups we talked about, like Native Americans. They got people.
What group has ever been successful off of reparations?
These Native American groups that have millions of dollars in casinos,
so Native Americans, you talking about like the group in America that's like the most impoverished, the group in America that has the highest suicide rate, like those are the people that you're talking about or have benefited from reparations,
bro. Some of them benefited.
No, not I'm talking about like a group as a whole, like in general, the group as a whole has not benefited at all. They have the highest poverty rate, highest alcoholism, highest suicide. Like
the Japanese receive reparations as well. And
you said what?
The Japanese
Jewish people,
they receive reparations as well.
Do you think that Japanese success in America is based off of reparations?
I think if you give a group capital, to invest, that's gonna.
So, are you saying that their success in America is based off of the reparations they received?
No, it's based on not being victims of white supremacy the way that we were, and they're based on their towns not being bulldozed and their inventions not being stolen and being personally attacked since they've been here. That's what their success is based on. And until we're made whole from being targeted all that time, it's going to be a lot difficult for us to compare ourselves to people that didn't have to go through what we went through.
Then why do y'all keep bringing up them with the reparations conversation?
Because we bring them up because people talk about other groups that got they're a model of what reparations should look like. It's lineage based, it's land, it's cash, it's for harm. That's why we bring them up, because people talk about whether we should get reparations or how we can afford it, those other things. And where our argument is, these other people got reparations for harm, so we should get reparations too. That's why we bring them up.
So Q, do you think those people that receive reparations, that it harmed them for receiving reparations? Did it make their situation worse?
No, I would never say that. No.
So y'all know what the Japanese got too? Like, do y'all know what they got from the government?
Let me look it up. I mean, they got cash.
That's it though. Won't no land and shit. Like, they got like a one time.
Yeah. Again, my question is like, how has somebody been successful from it? But nonetheless, we inside the weeds a little bit. I do want to allow a little bit of space
answer the question. My bad.
They got 20,000.
Damn, hey, the super chat, man. They put the super chat and wanted A-Blad to answer, man. Can he answer what Pan-Africanism has done for us or not?
Oh, is this the new one?
No, that's the same one. He said he wanted A-Blad.
You wanted that, and then Mr.
Yeah,
Parallel,
but we got to go to that new one after that.
Yeah.
He running the show. Mr. Parallel, it's all you, baby.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we'll hop straight to it right now. Shout out to the homie. An FBA fact: Martin Luther King Jr. fought for reparations in the United States to address racial injustice and the legacy of slavery. He believed that Black Americans should be compensated for centuries of oppression. That was a Mr. Parallel fact. A-Black.
Hey man, leave that shit on the screen the rest of the show, nigga.
Hey, Black, if you wanna answer the first question that he
I can speak on both of those, because the first question I actually took notes on.
Okay. Because
I felt like that we would get that. So I don't know if can you rephrase it? Do you still see that super chat question?
Let me find it. A-Black, how has Pan-Africanism helped foundational Black Americans in America?
Okay, so from my notes, cultural and historical pride by connecting the diaspora. This
nigga got a thesis.
Nah, but
you ain't had no pride without Africa.
In the 70s, the height of the Black Power movement, most of it was Afrocentric. It was Afro-centered, and these African traditions, these arts, was given an affirmation of cultural pride. It was letting people know about their self-determination.
What decade? My bad. What decade was this?
Okay.
What decade was this?
Can I finish?
Oh, my bad. I missed what you said.
I let everybody talk.
I just didn't hear you. My fault.
So it was about reaffirming self-determination, affirmation, giving cultural pride, and it was this whole Afrocentric movement, Afro-centered, and then you got the political awareness. You got Pan-Africanists like Marcus Garvey, W. Du Bois promoted global Black unity, and their work directly influenced the civil rights movement. Everybody in the civil rights movement said they were inspired by either W. Du Bois or Marcus Garvey, who were both Pan-Africanists, who both traveled to Africa, and they saw our issue as not just an American issue, but an issue abroad. Then you got the networking and the collaboration. Pan-Africanists starting conferences. I don't know any FBA conference that's bringing leaders around the world, but there are Pan-African conferences that drew Malcolm X and Kwame Nkrumah, and they sharing ideas and influence each other. Both are on record saying that they influenced each other and they brought their ideas back to their respective natures. You got the empowerment, and you got the empowerment and the self-determination of Pan-Africanists that's encouraged. All of this leads back again to the civil rights movement, and goes back to Mr. Parallel's quote about Martin Luther King. Yes, that's true. Like, I don't think that we have to separate. I think we can acknowledge that we are FBA, that we can acknowledge where we come from, and that we do deserve what we're owed here. But at the same time, we can acknowledge the power of international relations with our brothers. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time, because at the same time, we got the same enemy, and they're both are telling us the same thing. You know, when the African comes to America, they got the same skin, the same hair, and then they say, "Don't look at that black person over there. His pants is sagging. He talking ghetto, this and that. You're not like him or whatever. You know, you're different." And so they move like that. When we go to Africa, they point to them. Oh, they swinging from trees. They living in huts. You're not like them. So they tell the same divisive tale to both of us, and then we perpetuate it when we get there. But we got the same enemy of white supremacy. They deal with racism and white racism. They dealing with colonial oppression, but it's the same enemy. And so you can solve your problems at home, and you can also build your nations by building relations like every other powerful country does. Like, people can delineate and identify who they are, and they can still build international relationships to strengthen their power, to strengthen their leverage. So when they ask for something, somebody might consider giving it to them, because they know that these people have connections with everybody now, not just Africa, but Brazil and Cuba and the Caribbean and the darker peoples around the world. They're all connected now. They might be more of a threat. We might actually have to oblige and give them what they're owed. Right now, they can just run us in circles of legislation and never give us nothing, which they haven't, because we don't have any leverage. We keep talking about a country that we built for somebody else. We keep talking about a country that we are proud of, that we own nothing in. And that's not no dismiss. That's just the truth. So we're proud of what? Like, and then we have somebody on the panel that shits on HBCUs that's been here since the late 1800s, the longest standing foundational black things that we've built. After that would be the black church. Other than that, what structures have we built for us that are still dominated by us? Even HBCUs have to survive, a lot of them through government assistance, through government grants. And we are still asking the same government that oppress and enslave us to say, hey, pay us what you owe. So somebody say, I'm preaching a pipe dream. I say FBA is preaching a pipe dream to say that these people are going to give us something when they have no reason to give us anything. And that doesn't mean we don't deserve it. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean I don't understand the concept of FBA and being from here. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying I understand the logic of history. They have no reason to give us anything. Nobody in history is giving anything unless they have leverage or a base behind them. They either take it or they have some power behind them that will make you give it to them because they can take it. But this whole isolation thing, that this thing you're talking about, oh, it's having movement like no other, it's pointless. It's counterproductive. It's rooted in anti-Africanism, and not even just Africa. You got the most black people in Brazil, you know, so the diaspora is bigger than Africa. You got Brazil, where it's millions of us out there. Why wouldn't we want to unify and become more of a powerful force when here, like you say, most of us are not even on code, and we can't even get our own house in order. We can't even get our own black communities in order. The majority of our cities that are black populated are the poorest outside of Atlanta, which is a city, not even a state. But if you look at the cities, you can huff and puff, but this is facts. You can go to Memphis, you can go to Detroit, you can go to Jackson, Mississippi. You can
go to Africa too, though. We can go to a lot of those African countries.
Yeah, but they got oil that they're starting to refine themselves. They got armies. They have all black police forces.
Hey,
I've been there. We don't have.
Do they run their countries over there?
If somebody attacks you, who's going to protect you? If somebody attacks you, who's going to protect you?
Hey, fellas.
What's the number one? Tell me what's the number one black resource that we export? Are we exporting rice? Are we exporting coffee, sugar, any fucking thing but music that we don't?
Hey, Black, who is running Africa?
What are y'all niggas proud of?
Who is running Africa?
What are you proud of? You
not
built
the
Africans for somebody else. And you think they
don't even run Africa.
Hey, fellas. Let me hop in.
It's a fairy tale. Pan-Africanism.
I like to say that was
a fairy tale.
Listen, fellas.
They ain't even.
Let me hit the mute on y'all really quickly. That was a black rant presented to you by the To Be Fair Show in the G-ish Pod. Again, we're gonna move on to the call-in section. We got a couple people back here. I do want to kind of lay some of the groundwork, some of the ground rules before we get into it, because of, obviously the call-in tends to get a little spicy, especially coming on the back of like some very spirited conversations. So one, let's make sure that the goal of the conversation is to be productive. Two, no ad hominems, no personal attacks. Three, let's answer direct questions without deflection and insults. If the direct question is posed to you, let's just answer the question and go from there. With that said, we do have a favorite to the panel. Kofi, talk to us, brother. You got a good 2-minute runway, 2 to 3 minute runway. Let us know your thoughts.
Hey, yo, Q, can you drop the link real quick too?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, one more time. Appreciate you.
Yeah, love the show. Good topic. I love the spirited conversation on both sides. Obviously, the side that I disagree with, because these are things that's always being repeated, and I'm glad that some of it was answered and some of it was not answered. So I have 2 questions and a couple statements. But peace out to oh my gosh, having a brain fart. Peace out to A Black. That was a masterclass. So the answer that you just gave, I really do appreciate that. That was a masterclass answer to a parallel. Those were good questions too as well. So my statements that I have is, the first one is again, I'm not picking on people, but I'm just basically addressing things that was said that is just simply not true, which is simply FBA tropes that are simply not true, and things that I take personal, because me being a part of the diaspora that's not a part of America, I take umbrance to that. So it was being said that FBA, people that are like Jamaicans, Nigerians, if you come to them, you say, hey, are you black like me? And they're going to say no, I'm not black, I'm Jamaican, I'm Nigerian, I'm Guyanese, I'm Ghanaian. That's a total fucking lie. Am I saying, are there people that may or may not say that? Yes, they're idiots. There's idiots in every group. There's idiots that are Nigerians that doesn't make it the truth. So if there are black Americans that say, and I said this before, I'm not black, I'm colored. So that makes sense, because that one person say that they colored. Oh, so all black people consider themselves colored. That's just idiotic. Let's just stick to the truth, right?
I mean, they probably close to your age, I guess, because they were calling themselves that back in the day.
I haven't heard of black people call themselves colored.
Well, okay, so
maybe since the 70s.
Hey, let's keep moving.
I mean,
also, chat, as Kofi continues and kind of rounds off, I think you got about a minute left. We are putting precedent on. Again, I think that A Black said something that was fire. We're putting precedent on people that do have their camera on first. Again, it's in order of everybody that is called in, but there is a front of the line skip that comes down to making sure that your camera's on. With the camera on, it helps with the quality of the show. So we appreciate anybody that does feel comfortable enough to actually stand on the shit that they say with the camera on. We appreciate it. But with that said, Kofi, keep going. Fat boy, I see you in the back end. Come call in, bro. And we're gonna get to your questions. Trey sent me your questions. We got you, brother.
Yeah, pretty much Garvey saying, I like G's response as far as like, why did Garvey come? Garvey came to America because he saw opportunities. People say, well, why he didn't do it in Jamaica? Well, Jamaica is not America. Jamaica was several generations removed from slavery, so the people were more goal oriented on other things. They had more financial freedoms than Americans would have. So what he wanted to do there, he couldn't do there. He had to come to America, right? When another comment on TBI says, "Oh, black immigrants when they commit crimes, they're seen as American crimes." Number one, statistically speaking, black immigrants and all immigrants commit less crime than native born Americans that commit crimes. So making it seem like black immigrants commit all this crime, oh my gosh, now we got to take on this, is bullshit. Matter of fact, it makes black immigrants probably look bad because but black immigrants don't even think like that. Oh, they're gonna fit us in with all that, but we know we're all black. Another thing I want to know, there's this big huge
thing, Kofi. Then, of course, we're gonna bring you back up, but just to keep things within the time constraints, we do got quite a few people in the back.
All right. So let me just ask this one question, and I'll just leave it there because I got like 2 more statements, but I'll ask this one question. Why is there? Hold on, I'm trying to say, why is there not an effort for FBA to delineate from white supremacy? So you see, like how the Nation of Islam they did an effort to delineate from white supremacy, and they make they mentions of, look, you don't include in our society. We have these inalienable rights, and you don't do that. If you don't do that, give us a nation of our own. But it seems that FBA is more concentrated on delineate from people that is right next to them that has the same power of them or less than them. Why there's no big, huge effort to delineate from white people and your oppressor? And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, appreciate you, Kofi. Fellas, either one of y'all, if y'all want to answer it, and then we'll go to Kofi, and we got one more camera on, and then we'll get to the camera offs.
Now, can we just keep
no
pushing?
answer?
This is moving. I don't even understand that question.
Yeah, I don't feel like
y'all didn't understand it.
No, it was bad faith. It's like at this point, I'm not gonna, bro. I'm so happy with what this is, bro. Because talking about why haven't we delineated from white supremacy? Like we call out white supremacy all the time, bro.
Why hasn't there been like an intentional movement to delineate a way? Like for example, I see a lot of delineation from Democratic Party and over to the Republican Party.
No, there's no.
Not to be like independent in comparison to what
that's not true, bro. That's not true. Nobody's endorsed the Republican Party, bro.
So if we're not Democrat, we got to be Republican.
Trey, I just want to make sure that I understand. Were you just telling me inside the chat that the city of Chicago is turning red because of FBA?
No, I didn't say because of FBA.
What did you say?
I said this FBA woman who identifies with FBA, she had a thing called it's a campaign called Flip the City Red, and it's not to join with Republicans that say as much as it is to punish the Democrats and have some balance. So what
does red mean? Is red?
Yeah. I get
that they're turning Chicago red.
I think you're overgeneralizing if you're saying there's an FBA movement to go join.
No, I didn't even like bring this information. Like you brought this to me.
I think you're misunderstanding, bro. And I don't think.
So were you saying that she was just bringing like a couple people to the Republican Party? What was you saying?
Yeah, she was trying to flip Chicago red, right? So understand that means.
Did you look at that as like a positive?
Yeah, I did, because of what the Democrats were doing there with immigration and everything like that. So I think there's a way that we need to look at. We need to look at the situation where black people have this thing where they want to fall in love with a politician and not a policy. If it's a policy that can help them in Chicago, then they should rock with that policy. It's not because they love Republicans; it's because they love the Republicans' policy.
Okay, perfect. But now let's stay exactly there.
Question, bro. They're not.
It's not a bad faith question because of like what you just praised.
Something done.
No, what you just praised was like exactly what the question denoted.
So that's an example of how we're not delineating from white supremacy. Is that we're trying to have parity in our.
All right, so help me understand. Is the Republican Party? So just help me understand. Is the Republican Party and the Democrat Party primarily black? Mean black or white parties?
They're both white parties.
Okay, so delineation would be being independent, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're pushing to be Republican, that wouldn't be delineation.
We're not pushing to be Republican. Bro, you're missing the forest for the trees, bro. Because all you're saying is, oh, they're moving Republican. What I'm saying is they're looking at it as a chessboard, and you utilize the pieces to work towards your advantage. That doesn't mean you're in love with one party. You're trying to go to another party. If that's what you take away from this, then you're missing the entire concept.
So all right. So then I guess I would just ask you this straight up. So what you are saying is that black people shouldn't be Republican. They should be independent.
I think black people should be with whoever has the policy that's going to benefit them. And if it changes, they should switch.
So is there a specific group that has policies that benefit black people first?
Right now, Trump's policies are benefiting black people.
Which are the policies that benefit black people? Are you saying like
getting
the
all this
standard? Are you saying like the immigration, the HB1?
Yeah,
are you saying
mass deportation?
Lack of DI? Like what
oh man, bro, so much. Like one is the mass deportations, another one is Doge. How man, he's putting everybody's dirty laundry on the street. I don't know who's gonna fall next, man, because like he's first off, they're
what
putting
white people dirty laundry is he putting out?
Bro, first
or is it like
off,
primarily things that when it rains, black people get the most wet?
No, they're pushing all the black people out to the front lines. All the tools, the Democrat tools that were kind of been holding our stuff hostage.
No, I'm talking about like the average black person. Like, what are the things that the average black person benefits from that Trump has pushed it up?
Bro, if they get rid of all of these tools, break all these tools that have been holding us hostage, they'll liberate us from like the boule, like the people in Chicago, the Congressional Black Caucus. He's going after Al Sharpton, got Joy Reid out the paint, and it's only been like 2 weeks. So like, who's going to fall next?
Joy Reid out the paint,
bro. Yeah, you think if he wouldn't have won, that
he got Al Sharpton out the paint?
Bro, he tweeted about Joy Reid, he tweeted about Al Sharpton. Joy Reid was fired soon thereafter, and the president has enough pull to where if you don't rock with a commentator, that's not good for the station. If Trump lost the election, Joy Reid would still be employed.
Okay. All right. With that said, we're going to move over to Kamu. Kamu, talk to us, brother.
Yo, what's it, gentlemen? Hey man, I just witnessed a public execution of the FBA. I've never seen anything like this.
Man, I hope them Nigerians take over your country, bro. I'm for real. I hope they move all in. And then, for real, I hope they take over.
I was in South Africa.
I mean,
at least they got a country to take over.
That is not a country they don't run. I was just in South Africa.
Kamu, you got 2 minutes on the clock. We don't want to go too far over, but we do got about 4 more in the back.
See, I wanna make a point on reparations first.
Okay.
America. Now I'm talking about Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is going out and out to fight for resources less than what they owe to Black America. Right? They go to Afghanistan to fight for the opium, go to Iraq and steal the oil and the gold. And those resources are less valuable than what they owe to Black America. Now, if these FBA people think that they will get reparations without putting any fight, they are dreaming. It's never going to happen. America is fighting for less resources. Now, that will never happen. There's no Washington, D.C. government that will give the FBA reparations without them putting a fight. And now, for them to put a fight, it will never happen because they are a numerical minority. Again, he says Trump. Trey is saying that Trump is signing legislation, has done some things that are beneficial to Black America. And then he made an example of immigration.
30 seconds.
That's a lie. Trump signed an executive order to bring the Africans who are racist Boers in South Africa to America to be immigrants. How is that any beneficial to Americans? Which is something that the FBA don't understand, that white supremacy, they close ranks. They don't want to do that, and they think they will succeed. It will never happen. It's a fallacy, which is why I say that FBA is a joke. Honestly.
All right, got you. Again, we have another favorite to the show. You might be one of you're not that sole woman contributor, but you are our favorite woman contributor. Natasha, talk to us. What is your thoughts on where we're at inside the conversation? You got a good 2 to 3 minute runway. Speak to us.
Couple of things. I do agree. I mean, so there's a couple of things. Two things can be true. That the part about us getting higher degrees and marriage and home ownership and those kinds of things to move ourselves forward, and also that the country owes us reparations. They owe us. There was a whole plan during the Reconstruction that they were supposed to give us things that they never. So there's a debt to Black Americans that this country owes, and they need to pay that. Those are the two things that I think. The other thing that you guys keep talking about with the reparations of Japanese people did not get reparations. American citizens that were of Japanese descent, because they were interned as citizens, got reparations. It wasn't a whole bunch. It wasn't given to people that were in Japan. They were American citizens born here for probably centuries, because California has a huge Asian community that have been there for years. So let's, like, when we say stuff, let's, like, say the right things or the true things, not give mis or disinformation. So all Japanese in America didn't get reparations. Only those that were interned during because of World War II, I believe it was, got reparations.
Plus or next can, by the way. Like if the person died, the person that would benefit from it also got it too. So I just want to make sure.
Okay, the point is that it was a small portion of Japanese Americans. Okay, so
yeah, not all got no. You're right.
Okay,
let's
not just say a whole bunch of stuff that's not, that's provocative because it gets the crowd going. So that's all. I wanted to put that point out there.
Gotcha. 30 seconds.
Okay, the other thing, I don't know, Trey is talking about Doge and them coming in for federal employees. That is going to trickle down in a way that is going to be devastating for a lot of people. So be careful of that. I'm a federal employee, and there are real people that's dealing with it that has nothing to do with whatever the corruption is in our government. And it's not just Democratic corruption, it's Republican corruption. Our country has a pretty corrupt system as far as any other country, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not riding for anybody. And we as Black people should be careful about riding for a nation that whole immigration thing. That's not even fair across the board. Some immigrants they want to get rid of, and other ones they're keeping. So let's be careful about that immigration conversation too.
For sure. Appreciate you. I'm gonna take you to the back. Obviously, okay. You've been here for a while, so you kind of understand. We'll bring everybody back up. Steve, talk to us, brother.
Yo, what's good?
What's going on?
This is my first time calling in, but it was so many ahistorical points being made. I felt like I had to call in. So one, let's talk about the Africa and civil rights movement. So I think a lot of people missed that.
Hey, Steve, as you continue to build, you got 3 minutes of
I'm gonna knock it out quick.
And then
It's not gonna take long. I think a lot of people missed during the civil rights movement. At the same time, a lot of African nations were like getting their independence. So, for example, prime example was 1957. Martin Luther King goes to Ghana to see Kwame Nkrumah become the first president. So, our civil rights leaders understood that was going to be a necessity for us to have somebody outside the country to be our allies in order for us to get said reparations. Because every reparations move that y'all bring up, there's some the Jews. Everybody loved to bring the Jews up, but the rest of Europe forced Germany to pay the Jews. It wasn't just the Jews standing on their own with no backup. They had global support in which they got reparations. And I'm not saying you got to be Pan-Africanist or whatever, but there got to be some understanding that the government intentionally destroyed those relationships, because when Nixon went over to Ghana and the person he saw there was Martin Luther King, that struck fear in them to see an African American over there with an African. Because What is Ghana known for? It's known for chocolate,
Oh, I was
right?
gonna say slave trade.
But I'm talking about today. It's known for chocolate. And let's just walk through this, how this works. If you are able to leverage, and most of the chocolate you get from these European countries is produced with cocoa out of Ghana. If you are able to leverage your relationship as a African American, let's say if Martin Luther King and them was able to get this to work out, and you able to leverage your relationship as an African American with the president of Ghana, in which Europe is dependent on these resources to get, that is a much more powerful position for your claim to reparations. We're not gonna get reparations under the current conditions because there has been an intentional divide amongst all people who are not white, because they know if all people who are not considered white ever decide that, hey, we got beef, but we got bigger beef with the white folks right now, that they will be in trouble. They understand that. They write it down. I just don't get how people don't see that. And I'm not saying that African Americans is the only one who have this delineation mindset. It's a problem all around. And we just compounding the problem by like, we gonna stand on our own. It's like, so how do you get reparations without a global demand for? And this is my question: how do you get reparations without a global demand and the global backing? Because we're gonna need global backing in order for us, the United States government, to give us reparations. Like, how do you get that without that? You could not gonna vote your way to reparations. You not finna go bust no gun for reparations. So how do you get? How are you gonna get reparations?
TBI. Actually, I love for you. Like, answer his question. Hey, Steve, I'm taking you to the back end. Just hang around. We gonna continue the conversation.
Exactly
great question. But TBI.
Yeah.
I'll throw the alley-oop to you. And then we'll go to Quincy. He asked the question.
So, what foundational Black Americans have come to the understanding of, what y'all are saying in theory makes sense, but in actuality, it's not real. What if this was something where they would globally back us? We've been over here for 400, 500 years. Why they ain't did it yet? Why haven't they done this whole Africa so ancient and all that? Why haven't they done it yet?
Why haven't they given you reparations yet? In theory, it
No,
makes sense.
no. That's not the question. Why has Africa not backed our reparations? Why has to be another question?
Because you're not consistently building. You're not consistently building their relationships, and when people go over there and start to build the relationships, they get assassinated, and then it stops.
Really. That's what it is.
Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. It's not when they was marching in the streets. It's when go anti-war. It's when they go Black empowerment. It's when they build international relationships. They get killed. This is historic.
So you just named two foundational Black Americans, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Okay.
It looks like this is what we've been saying. We've been reaching out to them, and nothing has come from it. Those two people went over to their country and reached out.
I just the whole diatribe of what has come from it, which is our inspiration of each other.
Inspiration.
So the whole civil rights movement was inspired by African international relations.
Hey, man, but at this point though, bro, everybody who wants to stay on the Pan-African plantation is free to stay. We don't want y'all, like, the FBA movement is growing roots, is gaining momentum. Bro, y'all can stay. No, hey Black. Glory to Africa. Glory to your great motherland, bro. I hope you eventually make your way over there, bro.
Fellas. We do have two more in the back end. Pause. But Quincy, welcome to the panel. Talk to us, brother.
Yeah, can you hear me just fine?
Yeah, we can. Have you been?
All right, I just want to piggyback, man.
Have you called in before?
You sound familiar.
Yeah, but keep going. Don't let me cut you off.
See, nigga didn't want to answer that question. He was like, "Hold on, nigga, you asking too many questions, nigga." Like,
Quincy, are you still there? Quincy, if you are talking, we can't hear you. Did he just pop? No, he didn't just pop back in.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, man. Can you still hear me? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Just double checking.
Yeah, we good.
Yep.
But then you just did something and cut yourself off again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I was trying to watch my notes, man. Let me just try to say it off the top of the dome, man.
Okay. Guys.
If those countries have had ample enough time to come and try to stand up for us, man,
Thank you.
and they haven't. So I mean, how long we gonna be waiting? I mean, like I'm 42 years old, bro. I don't know how old you are. What's my boy name? ATL Black or Al Black. I mean, bro, they had ample enough time to stand up for us, and who has? So that's that. Second thing is no Black immigrants, African or Caribbean, comes to America to help us fight this fight. They come over here to get money. They run to the white man's country to get money. That's it. They ain't coming over here to help us. These are harsh realities that we had. That I believe it's like having an ideal view of people until you meet them. And I think with Pan-Africanism, it was raised in a time where most Black Americans didn't even meet Africans like that, right? So you had this view of them, and then now they started coming over after 1965, and we getting the first-hand view of them. And a lot of times it ain't so positive, you know? So that's that. The second thing is, as far as delineation and the FBA movement and stuff, man, for me, it's about having ethnic pride. I used to be a Pan-Africanism.
Right.
Can you hear me? Right. I used to be a Pan-Africanist, but the truth is, Pan-Africanists have low ethnic pride. They're not proud to be African Americans and descendants of slaves from this country.
Low self-esteem.
So they want to skip. They want to skip past the hundreds of years we've been here, go all the way across the ocean to feel some sense of pride of who they are. And the funny thing about it, you know how I know it's bullshit? Is because they'll sit there and they'll sit there and say, oh, Jamaicans got pride, Brazilians got pride, Trinidad. All the motherfuckers got off the same boat we got off of. All of them got dropped off just like we got dropped off. But for some reason, they're legit, but we ain't. For some reason, where they're from, they can claim who they are or where they're from, but we can't.
30 seconds.
So the other thing, sorry. So just the biggest thing is, man, look, for me, the delineation movement is really about just having pride in yourself and really saying you are enough. If they could get dropped off in Jamaica and them being Jamaican is enough, us being Black American FBA is enough. Same thing for anybody else, because most of our grandparents are older than these damn African countries. So that's the main thing. So,
if it was enough, it'd be enough. Like people keep saying, like, why they ain't coming to save us? Like, first off, they dealing with their own shit too. And if you're not consistently building international relationships, like, why would they come to save you? Yeah, it's bad apples that come on both sides. That come here and they look down on us, and we go there and we look down on them. But if we're not building,
that's not true. That's not true.
You're gonna tell me that there's Black Americans that don't look down on Africans?
No. I said we don't go there and look down on them. Specifically, the African Americans the African Americans who repatriate, they're typically way more protective and apologetic.
Repatriation. I'm talking about people who take trips and they go and they look down on Africans and they treat them like white people treat us.
Hold on. Are you comparing African Americans who take trips to Africans who actually move to America?
Yeah, I am.
That's the ample comparison. People who move versus
I'm comparing the divisive mindset. I'm saying that they are people who are ignorant and on both sides. Like this holier than thou approach that Black Americans don't look down on Africans when it's been historical thing, looking down on Africans, African booty scratches, y'all this, y'all that, y'all.
That's elementary school, brother. That's elementary school, brother.
Trey was just saying last week they live in huts. What are you talking about? It's not elementary. This is grown men.
I ain't gonna lie. I just listened to somebody say bushmeat babble earlier today. I just heard that.
I mean,
it's the alliteration, Q. It's the alliteration. You can't pass it up. It's the alliteration. You got to put it together.
All right, fellas. So Quincy, we appreciate you. I'm gonna take you to the back, really quickly. Again, we do got one more call in.
Bushmeat babble babies.
But you had the camera on. We can't see you no more. But it's nonetheless. I know you probably at work.
I'm at work.
We got you. Nonetheless, talk to us. You gonna end off? Yeah. Well, I don't think we have any more that it's. Oh no, we do. We got Fat Boy back here. We got one more. So a good 2.5, 3 minutes on the clock. Talk to us. Let us know your thoughts.
Well, I feel like, everybody keep yelling reparations, and the young man that called in earlier gave a good, valid point on it, and A Black gave a valid point earlier as well. We have nothing for them to give us reparations for. Yeah, we need it, and it's going to help out, but we need to come together and find another way before they even give us reparations, and if that do happen, for us to do something together and make something with amongst each other. We asking them to give us something, and all you ever see, you look on the news, you look here, wherever, every time you see somebody doing something stupid. If people stop doing stupid stuff and get together as a people, and we police our own people instead of them policing us, you know what I'm saying, we'll look better. And we have nobody to help us out. It's nobody. It's just us. We already a minority, and all these small groups want to go together and make a minority out of a minority. You're not gonna get nothing done. You know what I'm saying. You're not no better than the Taliban. That's to me, that's how it seems. And reparations is not going to happen from a small minority group of a minority sitting there, and you have no fight, have no weaponry or anything. All you have is mouth, and it's crazy. Stop talking, and do something. If you want something done, do something. But you can't do anything because you're not even militarized. You have nothing. What type of militia do you don't even have a militia? Nothing. You can't fight nobody, or you can't fight people with your mouth.
So when you pull out the guns,
arguing.
And let me
Depends
say, like,
mightier than the sword.
a lot of white people, and a lot of white mindset feels like slavery was a good thing for us, that they saved us, that they gave us religion, that they put us in a better position in life. And a lot of black people have taken on that mentality. So you asking for reparations for the same people who feel like they gave you a better life. So how do they feel? How would they ever feel they owe you something if they feel like they put you in a better position? And even now, people are anti-Africanists and thinking that we're so separated from them when you can go maybe 6-7 generations back, and it's not that far. Like it's on the grand scheme of time, it wasn't that far away that we were there. So I just don't get the logic of thinking these people are ever going to give you something because they owe you. In their mind, they don't owe you shit. We saved you. We gave you religion. We gave you language. We gave you this. So why would we give you anything now when we put you in a better position and you don't even want to go back to the place that we took you from?
All right. Appreciate it. And A Black, TBI, FBA. I know y'all nipping at the buzz, but I have brought up one of y'all compadres, and I think that he's going to express what y'all feel. I'm gonna take you to the back end. You've been here long enough. I ain't even gotta explain it. But talk to us, brother. Fat Boy,
what's up?
Live and indirect. Again, I know you sent in 2 to 3 questions. We didn't quite get there to it yet. You can ask that and pose that. We could talk about that. Or if you have some feelings, some thoughts on where we're at right now, it's up to you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we get you.
First, I'd like to say shout out to that good brother Quincy. He unfortunately he's far more articulate than Trey. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he hit it home, bro.
Quincy the real FBA Trey.
He hit it home. I be saying that in the chat, bro. Like these people, a lot of people articulate this better than me, bro. I don't even know. But at this point, man.
But I guess what my question is like, so why is it that if Trey talk or Trey say anything in representation of us, right? It's kind of like a gang style thing where it's like y'all jump up on him. But then y'all let these tethers, and I'm going there today, Y'all let these tellers go.
Okay, hey, to avoid any conflict and
y'all let these tellers come up here.
Hey, but not FBI.
And
Fat
it's
boy.
like they just have free reign all over the conversation.
Fat boy, just to make sure that we adhere to the rules of the conversation. Again, you the homie, but at the same time, we still got to make the rules the rules.
Okay.
We avoiding that language. Like again, I don't control after hours, but during the show, let's try and make sure that we keep all the conversations civil and
and we added TBI to balance it out too.
Gotta
give some credit. Gotta give some credit too.
I also sourced for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, gotta give some credit too.
Not a one-sided conversation at all.
But it's like
Fat boy, go ahead.
It's like when TBI and Trey talk, it's like they in court or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A Black can literally spew a bunch of, not just run around the question, bro. He literally ran around the question. He did not answer the question at all, bro. He just said a bunch of answer. And so y'all didn't challenge him. Nothing.
What question I didn't answer?
Fat boy. Let me ask you this. Would you?
And he don't know Trey in the group chat.
Fat boy. Y'all do the same. Y'all do the same shit in the group chat. Y'all do the same shit, bro.
I'm calling that shit out, bro. That he don't be understanding like the pre-show shit that be happening beforehand. But to the exact point that you're saying,
like Trey a real troll. He like a real troll.
Hold on,
not a fake troll.
G, hold on.
Not an internet troll. That nigga a troll.
I agree with you.
Fat boy, really quickly. Fat boy, let me get the point off real quick.
All right.
To the point of what you're asking, I think you're asking a valid question, right? Would it not be, especially once we balanced off the panel, it's up to them to actually check or question him on anything that he's saying. It wouldn't be up to like a G or A Black to answer themselves or anything like that.
It's been up to G all night. G done had his foot in Trey ass all night. What you mean?
But at the same time, if that's the answer, it wouldn't. If you believe A Black is saying something off the wall or crazy and he's talking all around the point, TBI and Trey, nobody was telling them to shut up. It'd be up to them to put their foot in A Black ass, like metaphorically speaking.
But this is the thing. When they talk, A Black ain't even got to defend himself. Y'all come in on some nice little shining armor shit. And Trey can't even. It's like y'all hold Trey to every little thing he say. Y'all hold him to every. Y'all know Trey mama stood next to the air fryer when she was pregnant with him. It's like, God damn, my nigga. Like on some real shit.
This nigga stupid as hell, boy.
On some real.
When he come to other.
Man, I'm gonna let that slide as long as you on code, bro. As long as you on code.
Bro,
yo, I think this is better than talking being off code.
As hell,
when it comes to other topics,
bro, I'm just saying, bro.
I agree with Trey a lot on other topics and other conversations we had. It's not always like gang warfare. He's just the only one who is as strong in FBA as he is. And like as I say repeatedly, I understand and agree with the concept of FBA. I just disagree with how it's being disseminated and ostracized.
So I got a question, A Black. Can't you say that same thing for Pan-Africanism? Being as if that it ain't did shit. It ain't did shit tangible.
I literally answered that question that you said. I went around, I answered and gave historical examples of how Pan-Africanism influenced our greatest leaders in the civil rights movement.
I can get influenced from a crackhead, my nigga. What do you mean?
But we're not talking about that. See, that's what y'all do. Y'all say like random shit like that, and I'm talking about real
truth, though. Hey, Black, it's the truth.
No, it's not. No, it's not the truth. W.E. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey is the truth. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King is the truth. Their influence was real. The Afrocentric movement was real and helped to inspire the Black Power movement because it gave them cultural pride that was rooted in what? Africa.
So
not
you don't
in
hold on. So you think that our cultural pride had to come from somewhere else? It ain't come
I
from
didn't
where.
say it
Hold
had
on.
to. I didn't say it had
Hold
to.
on.
I said it did.
Hold on. I let you play Ring Around the Rosie all fucking night. So
I'm
you mean to
direct.
tell
You
me?
ain't let me play nothing. You ain't let me play
that
nothing.
our
I've been
cultural
direct
pride
with my
didn't
quotes.
come from what we went through over here?
I'm saying that people saying that they come from slavery did not give them pride. They were not proud
Africa,
of
bro. A
being
place we
slaves.
never been. It came from there.
What the fuck is this nigga? What?
Man, I want Fat Boy to take my spot, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh
He
man.
can take your spot and he
I'm
can get
tired.
cooked
I'm
too.
tired.
No, you
I'm
can't
tired,
cook me.
man.
No, hey,
Let me say this. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Let me just say this.
You can't cook me.
Hold on. Hey, Fat boy. Hold on. Fat boy.
Hey, hold on. Hey, really quickly,
Hold up.
allow me to moderate really quickly.
Nobody's
fellas,
proud of being a
I
fucking
do
slave,
enjoy
bro.
the fact of where we're at in the conversation. This is fire. We are getting close to where we need to wrap up. So what I will allow, well, this is not necessarily like allow, but what we'll do is we'll go kind of around and allow everybody to have their last closing statements on the topic. Obviously, whoever wants to stick around, we're going to continue the conversation afterward. If G wants to be so generous to set up an afterlink show, we might record it, but if not, then we'll continue as we are. But nonetheless, I do want everybody to be able to get their last closing thoughts out before we finish up the conversation. With that said, we'll start with all guests, then we'll allow the official panel to finish off with us. Again, there is a precedent to everybody that does have a camera on first. So we'll start with Natasha, then we'll go to Kofi, then we'll go Steve, Quincy, Fat Boy, then TBI.
Is that Slim Thug?
Hey, come on, yeah, that's Pan-African's best. But starting with Natasha, talk to us.
I think one of the
And
first
Natasha,
times.
my bad. Don't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
Let's try and keep the closing statements a minute and a half. When you see me do this, that just means we had that time. All right, appreciate it.
I think my thing is just with the FBA. That was one of my first introductions to when I first came on you guys' show, and it just seems real. It seems kind of separatist and negative in nature. It doesn't. So to me, that's my. And I tried to read up on it and everything, but whenever Trey speaks about something, it always just comes from a place that. Yeah, it's just so that's where I get the little. It's a little troublesome for me if I must say that. And so unity is power in numbers, and I think we need to focus on those kinds of things.
Okay, unity, power in numbers. Appreciate it.
What's
Kofi.
up?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, okay. Yeah, you kind of went out for a second there.
Yeah,
I use my last time just to pose a couple of statements that I have. So earlier they had like a question as far as like I'll just read it off because I wrote it down. Basically saying I'm saying FBA is a cult because you guys were talking about lineage, and you were saying if someone moves, I think Jeeves like someone moves to Italy, and they have lineage here in slavery, are they still able to get reparations? They're still Black Americans, and you guys said no. That's why FBA is a cult. If it was a lineage, you can't change your lineage. You can't change who you are. You can change where you live, but you can't change who your ancestors are and what they've been through. That's why I feel FBA is a cult. They're also saying there's no Pan-Africanism happening. There's a Pan-African Union in Africa right now. There's Pan-African conferences that happen all over the world. In Africa, outside Africa, in America, in the Caribbean, it happens all over the world. Just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. All that tells me is that you need to be more informed. If you're going to be against something, at least be knowledgeable of what that organization is, what that organization does. But it seems there's a lot of ignorance on your part as far as like what Pan-Africanism, what they're doing. There's a lot of people on the ground in Africa, outside of Africa, that are doing Pan-African things. Then I'll yield the mic right there.
All right, appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to Steve. Steve, talk to us, brother.
So one thing I want to concede a point. Nobody's saying that the relationship is where it's supposed to be in 2025. It's not. But we all have to acknowledge the reason why it's not is because there's an intentional campaign for it not to be there. If we can't acknowledge that, then we never gonna get nowhere with the concept of African Americans and Africans ever coming along. Like there is a reason why when our civil rights leaders was getting killed in America, they fled to very specific countries, Ghana, Cuba, wherever in the diaspora, when America was wanting to kill them. Fred Hampton was on his way to Cuba, but he said he was gonna stand on business, and what happened. But if we can't acknowledge that there's an intentional propaganda campaign to separate both sides, because the delineation that y'all want is what they want. That is what they intended for it to be.
Lord have mercy.
Like that, like this is not like a theory. This is what the white folks said. They don't want you to have no relationship with them. Like, I don't get why people don't get that. And I'm not saying that it's perfect. I'm just saying there is work that needs to be done. And the only way we can get this mass reparations thing, whether it was ending apartheid in South Africa, took global outrage. Whether it was Jews, took global outrage. Nobody ever just did this thing because they were just on their own. Like, can we not admit that? Can the FBA crowd not admit that nobody ever just did not have real global impact, input to get what they wanted? You think you're just gonna get it with 13% of the population? I'm not saying be a throwing a dashiki. I'm talking about be strategic. And we always talk about what the Jews did. What the Jews did was got the rest of the Europe to back them and get reparations.
Steve,
but what the United States have to do with that though? Because the United States helped pay their reparations.
No.
So Europe didn't put their foot on the United States. What are you talking about, bro?
Hold on.
But you begging the United States for money, so you gotta be strategic.
I'm not gonna argue.
You're not in a position of power if you begging another man.
Not even strategic,
I'm not gonna argue with you, but I want you to go look up Norman Finkelstein. He's the foremost. He's a Jew. He's the foremost expert on Jewish reparations in America. Go look up Norman Finkelstein. Go look up him talk about reparations and what happened with that reparations. Because what tends to happen with these reparations movement, like when y'all mentioned the Native Americans earlier or whatever, there is a certain subsect of those groups who overwhelmingly benefit at the expense of the rest of the group. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done where we need to understand, we can't just get it by ourselves. Can we admit that? Or you think we're gonna get it? Do y'all think we're gonna get it with 13% of the population? Who think we're gonna get it with 13% of the population?
Who is our?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
What you mean?
See, that's moving the conversation again. He asks you a question, you guys don't answer the question.
Who do you think we can get reparations with 13% of the population? Yes or no?
Oh, yes, from the United States. Yes.
How?
From the United States. First off, we need to get back to freedmen. Freedmen is the legal term recognized by the United States of our position. If we get rid of black, get rid of African American, freedmen is our legal term. Just as Native Americans are recognized as a unique tribe that are paid to directly, freedmen is our pathway. That's the first thing. And the second thing is we got to focus on us. We can't do a We Are the World trying to save the whole world.
We're not doing a We Are the World. We're not doing it. We are the world. We are strategically leveraging relationships just like every other country do in the world.
Brother, these people are not on the same boat. They're not on the same game plan with us.
Nobody's not saying it's not going to require work. Do you think international relationships is just built off of just hopes and dreams?
So we 13% of the population, right? Only 3% of the slaves, it was 3 or 6% of the slaves got dropped off in America, right? The majority were in the Caribbeans, the majority in Brazil, and then Africa got all these billions of people. But y'all keep coming to us.
Exactly.
You're not answering the question. You're not answering the question. Y'all keep coming to us. The question. Why?
The Africans have work.
Answer the question. How are you going to get reparations with your 13% of the population? You're talking about other people. All he's asking you, how are you going to do it by yourself if you don't have other people?
I'm not
if you're
like
so powerful.
y'all.
I never understood you have people that's so powerful and fucking weak at the same time. You're
I'm not
powerful,
like y'all.
but you're fucking weak. How are you going to do if you're so powerful?
Steve, you FBA?
I will concede a point. I started off with the caveat that there's work that needs to be done.
Steve, you FBA?
Yes, I'm from Texas, Dallas, Texas.
So yeah, so Chrissy talking about y'all. Yeah, hey, Chrissy, you talking to one of your own, brother. That's not y'all. That's one of your own. It's not.
When I say y'all, I'm talking about Pan-Africanism.
My folks
into the cult bullshit.
No.
My folks
When I
from
say
California and Texas.
When I say y'all, I'm talking about Pan-Africanists.
I'm not a Pan-African.
That want to
That's
bring
the thing.
y'all want to stall progress unless you can bring the whole world with us.
How is Pan-Africanism still in progress if you chopping everybody up and you the one
no one's
doing all
chopping
these
anybody up, brother. I'm not Caribbean. I'm not chopping anybody up. I'm not Caribbean.
But Steve not a Pan-Africanist.
FBAs are the separatists. So how are you blaming Pan-Africanism?
Pan-Africanism
is about unity.
All right, hey, fellas.
Yeah, we already have to wrap it up, Q. Wrap it up, Q.
Yes, please wrap it. Q.
Please,
hold on. Please wrap it up, Q, because the bush meat them boiled over.
Again, we want to keep it warm during the actual conversation. So what I would say is, let me kind of give an exit to everybody. And then wherever we want to take the conversation afterward, I hope and believe that it will be cordial. But what I will say is that again, on behalf of the To Be Fair show, we have D-ish podcast at the top. We have Natasha. We appreciate you. We appreciate you calling in. Again, Kofi below her. A Black TV. Some people said he delivered a concession, not a concession speech, an ether speech, but I don't know. That's for the
nigga ain't ether shit. FBA Trey. He used to flip that bush meat, man.
FBA Trey, fat boy. I'm mad really quickly. But nonetheless, FBA Trey. I think that he has held his own and he has represented very well inside this panel. His brother TBI, our brother TBI, my bad. Again, another one of our FBA brothers that he came and he explained his point. I think he did an amazing job at explaining the FBA perspective. Steve came in with a lot of gems. Quincy, another FBA brother that came in with a great POV, and it's never a dull moment when Fat Boy hit the chat. With that said, this has
Fat Boy in the chat ready to flat.
Monkey nigga ready to do
hey,
it.
Listen again. With all those things said, this has been the To Be Fair show in the G-ish podcast presenting Unpacked. Make sure that y'all tune in next week. We might do a part 2. Y'all been fairly engaged. Again, next week we might have a couple of Trey's brothers up here from the start to where he doesn't feel like it's a 1v3, a 1v4, anything like that. And he has a little backup. And maybe Quincy can articulate himself a little better than Trey did this week, according to Fat Boy. Nonetheless, this has been a To Be Fair show, G-ish podcast. This is Unpacked. Peace out, and we are out.
It doesn't matter how you feel.